Not every geek with a Commodore 64 can hack into NASA.
This one's dedicated to all the hackers. Yo. Even out, settle scores quick. Our disaster recovery requires even more discs. Put your bytes up, prove it or you forfeit. Got my C64 and we blew it into orbit. M Bison with 8 straight perfects. Overrolled emotions make hate break circuits. In case you heard, it's a name fake service. Optimize our runtime to escape verdicts. Got an integer scope flow that they can't sign. Passing code, didn't sanitize command lines, landmine. So before they'll see me after, I'm advice star, courage, woke plus velociraptor. Don't prove we're human unless we really have to. My team built schemes that destroy, recapture. Hate what they see, finish this chapter. By the way, we're not any geeks, we hack into NASA. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. I'm just waiting till my BlackBerry dies, cause I'll replace it with the Raspberry Pi. Don't compare to this track, it makes everything they said dull. Neutralize any threat, turn Red Skull to Dev Null. They killed virus writers that we mentioned, but instead they ascended to the VX heavens, then reincarnate as live wires. Still inside we hide ciphers and sign device drivers. Which school will we hit next? They didn't learn the format, so we've got a print F. Next step is a chin check. Freestyles that I spit best, they didn't decrypt yet. I crush internet MCs and rhyme battles. Get your Wi-Fi tackled, hacked by pineapple. I don't think you'll like my Snapple, cause I popped it with vodka in a cyanide capsule. We drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things.
You know there's gonna be security, right?
First we drink all the booze, then hack all the things. Then backdoor the firmware on anything you bring, regardless of the hardware, service or encoding. Connected to the internet and someone's gonna own it. This is for the pirates that clap and love the sound. Attacking from the cloud, then we're back in underground. There's no masking from us now. We pop tornadoes around the globe, track and hunt you down. Hacked on schedule, add it to your calendar. Devices online, here comes another challenger. State infiltrated, so undercover. This is for my comrades who stare at the debuggers and trace every buffer. Examining the code flow, haven't been to sleep, better pop another no-dose. I think I'll need a planet-sized urn, cause some men just wanna watch the world burn. Your turn.
Stay out of jail.
Technologically possible, yeah.
Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Got this vodka and this Red Bull, they still give me wings. So we drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. Drink all the booze, hack all the things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring.
I mean, these servers have more firewalls than the devil's bedroom.
Hack all the things. Drink all the booze. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Hack all the things. Things. 0 through 3, we're in every single ring. Hack all the things.
Yeah, well, good luck, man.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone around, welcome to UHC!
Yes!
Welcome everyone, I was muted. Welcome everyone to tonight's UHC match. Our UHC CTF is back for another week. We are a weekly CTF that happens live here on Twitch. Every Sunday you can watch us. We have 10 players going against each other. This is a hacking championship. So you're gonna see 10 players hacking a pre-built system, especially for this championship. So no one here is doing anything weird or shady. Everything is built exactly for UHC. And tonight we have another 10 top players that qualified yesterday for the finals. We call every Sunday the finals. In yesterday, our qualifying round happened as always on our Discord channel. So if you want to be part of the CTF, if you want to play the CTF, make sure you are part of our Discord server, UHC's Discord. My co-host that is there in the chat saying, if nobody's doing anything shady, can you really call this a CTF? I mean, come on. Yes, we are live on Twitch, and I cannot indulge cybercrime here live. Just live. But yes, you can qualify in our CTF through the Discord server. For you to be part of the Discord server, you can go here on our chat and type !Discord. The bot will throw you the link, and you will find our public Discord server. The qualifying rounds happen every Saturday right there, and you can qualify to play here on the finals here on Twitch, or you can just play around, have fun, and learn new stuff, and you don't actually have to compete here live. But if you do, not only you get Twitch time with us, but you can also take home a cash prize of 500 reais, because this is a Brazilian championship, which is around $100. But we also have a bunch of partners and sponsors throughout the weeks, so you may find yourself lucky to have, hack the box swag or offensive security giveaways or stuff like that throughout the weeks. So as I was saying, UHC is a Brazilian CTF, started in Brazil, and then expanded now here on this English live as well. But we are happening on 2 live streams at the same time here on Twitch. So the Brazilians actually have their own stream with the UHC creator Igor Rincon, and also the UHC challenges builder, which is Cadu from Crowsec. You can see his company up here. And Cadu is just this crazy dude that builds 2 CTFs per week, 2 different CTFs per week, because he does the qualifying round with all different challenges, and he also does the finals here on Twitch every Sunday, and all of the challenges are different from each other. Yes, we have a person like that. That person exists. I'm not joking. We're going to meet him at the end for the walkthrough of all of the challenges. So if you're new here, which I don't know if you are, but it's good for you to know this is a CTF with around 3 to 4 flags. This is a very fast CTF. We have 3 hours till the end, which sounds a lot, but for CTFs, it is a very short amount of time. Usually CTFs run for like 2 days, 3 days, maybe a week, or even more. But we have this like lightning CTF round, and we also have narrators and special guests to narrate the CTF live, which is an esports format. So in the long run, UHC wants to turn CTF into an actual esports, like a recognized esports. That is pretty much our goal, and with that goal to offer opportunities to bring the community together and just to have fun all around playing CTF. If you want to know more about it, please follow us on social media. We're all around social media. We're on Twitter, and we're on Instagram, and we're on pretty much LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever social media you want, just look for Hacking Esports, because that's the name of the company that organizes UHC. So you go to any social media that you want and you look for Hacking Esports. And you're gonna see me talking in the chat with the profile pretty soon, so you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And that's pretty much it. And let me see if I have anything else to say tonight. Oh, thank you to our sponsors and partners, which is CrossSec and my own company from Brazil as well. And all right, it is time for me to bring your most beloved host of all time that y'all like. Y'all scream his name, I know, in your bed at night. Oh, I mean, wait. Okay, well, you got it. It is my husband here, the beautiful Dave from Dual Core.
Hey there. I just wanted to make sure at least somebody was doing something shady during the CTF, so I brought these shades.
Oh, shit. Yeah, yeah. So, my husband right there, y'all.
Yeah, we're married. Lucky you.
Yep. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more than, dad jokes?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Int80. I am the Marina's husband in Dual Core. I hack computers and make rap music about it, and am married to Marina. And I like to play CTF. I've played CTF for years, and it's awesome being on UHC each week to see how other folks are playing CTF. We have guests that join us with all different backgrounds. Our guest tonight is also a longtime friend of mine, and I'm very excited for them to join us. But I did want to talk a little bit just about some music stuff that I've been working on. My friend Michael Kill and I, who you may have seen play shows with me live at HushCon, DEF CON, lots of conferences we've played together. He and I have a group called The Troubleshooters. We put out one project a couple of years ago, had 4 songs on it. It's called Bleed Time. You can listen to it on any of the platforms, Spotify, Tidal, wherever you get your music. He and I, actually, we have another album written and we haven't recorded any of it. And then we just kind of let it sat for a while and we're like, you know what, we should actually write an album and then record it. So he and I have started a new album. And I think we're about 3 songs in at this point. None of them recorded yet, but I'm I'm still very excited. The beats have been amazing, and writing with Michael is always a blast. He always comes up with really cool stuff, and he's working on something big, kind of. So he's just kind of got this cool opportunity. I don't want to give away too much, but anyways, if we could put out some positive vibes in the universe for the homie Michael Kill, please put a 1 in the chat, just to give a +1 there for positive vibes out to the energy. So that hopefully things come through for Michael and this opportunity for him. But yeah, this it's usual business for me, just trying to keep Marina happy and do the best that I can because she deserves the best. And yeah, just hacking all the things.
Very spoiled girl.
So I'm excited to see what we've got on tap for UHC tonight. As Marina said, these are 2 unique CTFs every single week. So the qualifying round on Saturday is a completely unique environment compared to what we're going to see tonight. The challenges don't always correlate. So you might have, challenges in one domain on Saturday night or on Saturday, and then Sunday night, completely different ball game. Like I think last week the challenges were AWS or something like that, right? And I don't think the challenges on last Saturday were AWS necessarily. So we never know what we're going to get. We don't know what the challenges are. We don't know the answers. So you are getting our speculation and kind of our insight as hackers as to how we would be thinking our way through these problems if we were playing and calm under pressure. But enough about me. I would like to bring in our other guest, Virus, so that he can introduce himself.
What's up, Virus? Well, now y'all see our most special guest of tonight's UHC match. What up?
Hello. I don't know about special.
Oh, come on. You're that guy.
That guy. Let's see. Yeah, I'm a DEF CON CFP review board member. I guess that's kind of a thing. I co-founded a conference called HushCon. Co-founded well, I didn't found it, but I got invited enough to participate enough with a friend's project that it's kind of mine also now, called Symbol Crash, which is a podcast.
That's kind of what I say about UHC.
Yeah. And that was really cool. We've been, doing a lot of like, interviews with the community and trying to kind of archive some of the tribal knowledge that's been out there, get some of like the stories from the old days, but also, just, perspectives from interesting researchers and people with really unique backgrounds. Highly recommend people check that out. And then I guess I can't really do anything public without a shout out to my own crew. So I guess wave to all the DC 949 folks out there.
Yeah. The squad.
The squad goals.
Yeah. And 949, like y'all were like the first hacking crew that really like welcomed me in. When I got to DEF CON, I didn't know anybody, and y'all just kind of made me feel like family, and y'all were so cool with me all the time. So I really appreciate that.
Word. No, man, it's that's how it was for all of us, right? That was the thing. Like we showed up, and we all showed up in different times, different little bespoke areas, and it was just such a warm and inviting space, which I guess is kind of counter to the narrative that some people have, but it was our experience, and so we felt, well, we'll just put this back into the universe. That's all we can do.
Yeah, for sure. I think DC 949 and Hack 5 probably have more shout outs than anybody else in dual core songs.
Right. It's pretty cool being able to throw a party and have your own soundtracks. Great.
I miss that. I miss it so much. But the cool thing is we have a bunch of people from all over the world watching UHC. We are always very surprised to see where everyone's from. People from the chat, if you can let us know tonight who we got here in the house, what countries, what cities, let us know. We always have like the craziest places ever. I've seen some of the time someone from Sri Lanka. I don't even know how to say the name of the country.
Sri Lanka's on my bucket list, man. More spices grow there than any place else on earth.
Yes. Yeah. Also, I don't know, Virus. I got to spill the secret for folks that don't know. Virus is like a world-class culinary artist. Like I remember getting invited to Virus's place for a cookout in Santa Cruz once, and Virus was just in the kitchen, just making like the most amazing dishes you've ever had. It was incredible.
Oh man, I do miss the barbecues. The barbecues were tight, man. It was. I'll probably not be able to say at any other point in my life that I would wake up in the morning and think very rational about the $5,000 plus I was about to spend on meat.
But it was amazing.
It was amazing. Also part of the amazingness of that particular barbecue was the crowd deciding that there needed to be dual core reps. And so at some point, like, we didn't have a mic, so somebody plugged an old pair of headphones that I had into a mixer and he used them as a mic, and like speakers got moved outside and used the TV. It was insane. It was
That's
totally
right.
insane.
I've forgotten about that. Yeah, we just took the headphones. We used to do this like back in the day with the DJ setups, and you just take the headphones and plug them into the mic port, and then it's just wires, right?
Yeah, it was like you and Keith Myers like cobbled together to like set up. And just, oh my god, it was so.
All right, boys. I gotta present a little bit of the players, but before we go for the players, and we're gonna have the entire night here to chat a little bit about our little parties that we went to and stuff that we did here and there. But I want to let y'all know next weekend on the 25th, we're gonna have a special edition with Ipsec. Ipsec is gonna be back, and he is gonna finally reveal himself. Yes, this time it's true. This time I swear to God.
Wait, is IPSEC actually a person though? I thought it was just an AI, like it, like how they had the 3D like projected AI artist. Like I thought that was IPSEC, but in hacker form. Is IPSEC really a person?
Yes, he is. I swear, and he's gonna be here with us. People ask, is this a phishing campaign? No, it is not. Although I am a social engineer, I am not phishing. I swear.
I call Robin Sage.
And we're gonna have him with us, but for him to open his webcam, we're gonna have a charity donation run. So we're already posting about the projects and charities for y'all to choose on our social media, so you can go and vote for the project that you want to help. either on Instagram stories of Hacking Esports or the Twitter account in the polls that are going on there. And we're putting a bunch of projects out. You can vote on 4 of them that you want to see here next weekend for the donations run. Now, if we reach $2,000 of donations to any of the projects or all of them together, it doesn't matter. But if we reach this goal, and 1K viewers on the UHC stream, then IPSEC open up Syscam. So there is a. I'm not gonna even say there's a trick because that's charity money, and we don't. we are using this amazing opportunity that IPSEC just came to us and gave this awesome idea, like, hey, let's use this to actually help people that need helping. So we got a bunch of projects, not only from Brazil, but also international, like Women in Cybersecurity, Blacks in Cyber Conference, also a few hacker spaces and hacker clubs from Brazil that are suffering with the pandemic and need help to pay up their place, and a bunch of other projects as well that you can just go in the social medias and vote and also know a little bit about them. And I think that's pretty much it that I have to announce.
Yeah, and I mean, for folks that are in our field and maybe interested in cryptocurrency, if you've been sitting on Dogecoin, you could literally just dump like 2K of Dogecoin and immediately buy the IPSEC face reveal, and that money goes to charity and helps folks that are in our field get started. Like that. Yeah, just to the moon.
Most positive use of blockchain ever.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Now the staff is already telling me to start the players' presentation. So after we have talked about IPSEC, phishing campaign, charity donation campaign, we're going for the players up tonight's match. It is our 36th. I don't know how to say this in English, but it's the 36th edition. So 36 weeks in a row of not in a row, but 36 weeks of UHC going on.
Yep, 1 week per chamber of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. What? Okay, yes. So we have our first player of tonight's match, Oxton. I have never seen this player, so I think it's a newcomer for sure from Brazil. So welcome, Oxton, to the competition, and we wish you luck. We also have Ota, another newcomer, if I'm not mistaken, because I have not seen this player so far here on UHC, also from Brazil. So, Ota, welcome to the competition. And again, good luck. We have My Donut. Okay, My Donut's not a newcomer anymore.
Yo,
My Donut is now a veteran here on UHC.
Yeah, I played a CTF with My Donut in the past. They're really dope. So happy to have them on.
Nice.
All right. My Donut also from Brazil. So My Donut, welcome back, and we hope you have a lot of fun. Maybe tonight is your night, and oh my, look who we have here.
Oh.
I know this guy. I saw him last week.
Yeah.
So we have Kaz. If y'all can't remember, Kaz was here with us as a guest on UHC, narrating the past edition. And now he's playing around with the CTF. All right, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, and Kaz is a longtime CTF player, so I'm gonna be curious to watch his screen. I always try to cheat off of him when we'd play CTF in the past.
Yeah, man. He's always so fast. I mean, all these folks are so fast, but like Kaz, man, he's got them lightning fingers, man. I don't know.
Okay, we do have a past champion playing tonight. So we have Luska coming back, also from Brazil. And Luska has already won UHC before. And yes, he's a pretty young kid. He's like 16 or 17, if I can remember right. Whoa. So welcome back, Luska. We are rooting for you for sure. Maybe it's your second win. We have Does Real Bert. So Bert was not with us last week because, he had a few problems, but we are very, very glad that you're back, Bert, and you're good to go. So welcome back to the competition, and we wish you the best of luck. We love you. We love seeing you play.
Yeah, welcome back.
All right, let's see who else we got here. Oh, okay. It's
John the winner.
favorite player, it's John the Winner, or as you may know as his original Brazilian name, João Ribeiro. He was John the River, he was John the Ripper, and now he is John the Winner, baptized by Nahamsec, and also a one-time winner, a past winner from UHC. So,
Yes.
Some champ fights.
Yeah.
all right, we have cash flow.
Cash flow.
Cash flow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going for Portuguese. We have Cash Flow, another newcomer, and this time it is a player from India. This is
Nice.
amazing.
Also, it's like late there, right? Or early.
Or
maybe.
early, right? Yeah.
It is. It is like 4 a.m. in the morning or something.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for staying up late with us or getting up early. But we are excited to have you on. That's amazing. And yeah, sick name, Cash Flow.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great, man. I love it. Hack life.
Yep.
All right, let's see who else we got here. We have Ricardo coming back. Ricardo is not a newcomer. Ricardo has played a lot of UHC before. Maybe tonight is his night. Finally, he takes the trophy home. This would be very nice to see. So we wish you good luck, Ricardo.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We have Celesian. Well,
at some point, Celesian's going to have more wins than he has years of age. Like he's only like 17 or something like that.
This is going to happen. I can see that happening very easily.
It's like a drifting competition where like all the kids are going to be like, First blood.
What? We got with the what?
All right, let's get over to the players. Sorry, I didn't realize that the CTF started.
It just started like 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, these kids are fast.
My favorite part so far has been Das Real over here with Nick 2. I haven't seen Nick 2 in a long time.
Yeah. And we were talking about that last week. Savant was saying that like Nick 2 is actually his like go-to for starting on web app enumeration.
It's kind of like I understand why like some like professionals shy away from it just because like it does generate a lot of noise and like from the pro space it's about like enumeration. So like
real quick here, everyone, just since everyone is asking, we do have the scoreboard and you can access the scoreboard at !scoreboard or just accessing the link that I just sent you there in the chat. As you can see, Cash Flow already got 100 points. Celesian in second place, Kos in third place, and Luska in fourth place in like 5 minutes of competition.
Right. So, Amar, you were like, yeah, and then you can see the scoreboard, and Nahamsec said, "Can you?"
Jesus. I mean,
because with your channel points, you can buy things like you can buy hints, you can buy screen time from certain players, you can buy disabling the scoreboard. And Nahamsec is infamous for disabling the scoreboard. So I'm not sure whether you can actually see the scoreboard right now.
That's awesome.
It looks like it's still up. All right. So that was a rhetorical question from
don't
rhetorical
say that
hypothetical.
out loud. He's going to go for it.
But yeah,
All right,
man.
who's first? Cash. Let's go check Cash.
Yeah, Cash Flow was the first one to get that first flag, followed right up behind by Celesian, Kos, and Luska. So 4 players already on the board, and we're going to take a look at Cash Flow's screen. So bouncing down, there we are. And we
already have it on screen. And just so y'all know, real quick, for those who want to bet, the betting is also here on the Twitch channel. If you scroll down, you can see all of the players' all of the players' Discord room. You have to bet according to the players' Discord room. And I don't remember if the bot is not working yet, but in case it's not working, you can all use the link for betting, which is this one that I'm gonna post right now in the chat. And there we go.
Man, Kos with the Go Buster.
Oh, nice.
I love that thing.
So it looks like the web app here in the first challenge has something where you can post YAML to the application. And it looks like at least watching Cash Flow, they were kind of fuzzing with like what characters would cause problems. And then on the bottom right here, Cashflow's got some source code up that it looks like PHP source code. And then I see a call there to unserialize. So that to me kind of gets me thinking along the terms of like a serialization bug, right? Where you might be able to have some kind of serialization payload, using maybe something like PHP, GGC, or something like that to get execution.
Yeah. Yeah, deserializer bugs are pretty common in PHP. It's like PHP and Java, right? It's like, well. Yeah,
and it's funny. I always say that I learn something new every week on UHC. And before doing UHC, the only tooling that I knew for serialization bugs was YSOSerial for Java apps and YSOSerial.net for .NET apps. And then 1 week there was a serialization bug and people were using this PHP GGC. And I was like, what is that? I've never seen that before. And so that's tooling for PHP apps with gadget libraries in there. So I was like, that's really, really cool.
That's awesome. I've heard, I haven't like really dug down in the weeds, but there's been some Go deserialization bugs too.
Oh wow!
And those are interesting because like Go is generally memory safe enough that like people have a tendency to think that like the bugs in them are all pretty like kind of muted, but like when you do land a bug, it's like, super useful because everything's position independent, compiled, so it's always in the same place in memory. Like you usually don't have to mess with like all the ASLR components, right? Because like you already know it's there. Like you can just play with what's in your existing program space.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't considered that aspect. And yeah, so I guess it kind of removes a barrier to difficulty of sorts. And I always think about Go as just kind of being this like pretty rock steady language, right? It's like you don't find like buffer overflows in it. Like a lot of bug classes don't seem to exist.
Yeah, it's got like the default runtime dwarf attachment like has a lot of stuff.
Sorry guys, my donut is now on 5th place also with 100 points. So in the first 10 minutes of competition, we already have 5 players in the scoreboard.
Nice. I like it.
Sage just said here in the chat, man, I'm going to have to put this video on minus 1.50 because look at them go. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I usually watch hacking videos on YouTube at like 2x or something like that. And this one, you need to do it at like minus 2x to get it to like normal human speed.
Slow it down, man.
But yeah, and then I see here, I'm not familiar with I'm familiar with FAR, like the PHAR stuff, right? And so it's like a mechanism inside of PHP. But I'm not necessarily familiar with like the YAML to JSON or any of the like libraries necessarily for working with those formats inside of PHP.
Yeah.
And then we did see Cashflow poking around at some different GitHubs. And so one of the things I like here, you see like there's a bunch of different tabs open in Cashflow's browser, right? And that is essentially what hacking is you're just looking stuff up all the time and trying different things. And then you've generally in a CTF where everything's kind of rapid pace, you got stuff going quickly.
So John Rivers, João Ribeiro, or John the Winner, as Nahum Sek calls him, it is also now in the scoreboard in the 6th place with 100 points too. So we're 4 players down on having all of them in the scoreboard in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was excellent. Off to a fast start. And I like this. Cashflow here is using the Python to generate like a lexicon or a library of or an alphabet of like fuzzing characters, right? And then you can use those to see like where things trip up. And I always like that approach of like, let me just throw payloads that have that might pertain to like particular attacks, so that I can trigger a particular bug class potentially if it exists.
I had Meredith Patterson at one point gave me an axiom. She said, anytime you build a parser, you've also built a fuzzer.
Nice.
And it took me a while to think about it. And it was, oh yeah.
Well, no, wait, actually, yes.
Wait, actually, yeah. And it's like super useful, right? Because then if you think about it, like every parser that you find is just a fuzzer. You just make input.
Yep.
Or make output instead of take input.
Yeah. That's dope. I like that. That's a really cool approach. Let's see. Why don't we check on Kaz and see how Kaz is doing? It looks like the Brazilian live stream is also checking on Kaz as well.
Let's
over
see
here living
this.
in Burp.
Blue Dragon Sec provoking the chat. The scoreboard is still on. No, Sec running low on points, bro.
Yeah.
Please don't say that. we're really, 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 really fast now.
So yeah, we do see Kaz here with Burp on the right side, and then it's got the scoreboard on the left. And usually on the challenges, there's some kind of information like, like target this IP address, or go to this website or whatever. But here it says target server ? Super helpful. So I got to think that there's some bug here in the YAML processing that you target in the first challenge that then gets you either a shell or maybe discloses the second flag somehow.
For folks out there, if you want to check a little bit more information about the flags, so you can click on the player's name on the scoreboard link, and it shows you info about the flag that they have submitted. So all of them in the scoreboard have submitted the easy one online converter challenge for 100 points.
I don't know if y'all noticed in the top right, there's a little on loop console. Oh, we can't see it right now because of the top bar. But on Kaz's screen, there's a console that says,
There we
drink
go.
all the
All the
booze,
booze,
hack all the things.
Yeah, that's great.
Amazing.
I dig that there's a few people doing the Foxy Proxy burp switch back and forth thing so that you don't pollute your logs. I like that trick. I do that a lot.
Oh, yeah. Foxy Proxy is so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. It looks like Kaz is going for, I guess, a directive to do a local file include. And this is something new to me. I don't have like a lot of experience with YAML other than, wondering why some lines start with a dash and some lines don't.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen.
It's an object reference. It's like you can make arrays and stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like YAML. YAML's like a weird. It's like if you think about it as an encapsulated format language, kind of similar to XML or HTML, where like you can have objects by just encapsulating them. Like that's kind of how YAML works.
Right on. Yeah, the extent of my experience is building like CloudFormation templates, right? And then those have particular directives where you can be like substitute or like refer to this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's like specific to the service itself and not like whatever this is running.
Oxton now and the scoreboard. The 7th player have joined the scoreboard with 100 points, and we're still going, y'all.
I like it. 7 out of 10.
Everybody's getting it.
Yeah, this is awesome. I wish I was this fast at hacking.
Yeah, I know, right? Man. Yeah, a lot of blue team tools actually rely on YAML as their default configuration parsing language as opposed to JSON, just because the parsers out there need to be less Turing complete in order to parse it.
Yeah, I guess Kubernetes also, right? Like using YAML as well. That's all that like infrastructure is config or infrastructure is code, and which I really dig. It's amazing that you can just like describe like I would like my environment to look like this, and then the underlying service is like I got you and builds it for you.
Yep. Terraform and a fuzzer.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, why don't we jump around? Why don't we bounce up to My Donut? Because, like I said, I played CTF with My Donut before, and they were really solid. So I'm curious to see what kind of stuff they're cooking up. And what I'm seeing right now is My Donut's got just a little test file for YAML, and then they're just kind of building it out. But I did see it looked like an Nmap scan completed, so I wonder if they caught anything. Doing a little web recon here, looking for backup files of the index.php, seeing if you can find a backup copy, which we have seen here on UHC before.
Luska's over here with this FFUF file, file path fuzzer. I haven't messed with that before. That's cool.
Yeah, FUF is solid. It goes like super fast. I put it up there in the top tier of like web app enumeration tools with like GoBuster and Ferox Buster. Ferox Buster is one that's written in Rust. But Fuff is really cool because you can also fuzz out like subdomains or virtual hosts with it potentially as well. It's got like a placeholder keyword, and then you just give it like a word list, and you can give it like auto filtering, so you can tell me what you can say. Yes, what's up?
Bert now in the scoreboard as well with 100 points. 8th place.
Nice.
But yeah, Fuff is cool. So I would debate this with like IPSEC when IPSEC would be on, and IPSEC is always like using GoBuster, and I was like, but Fuff is so much faster. And IPSEC's like, well, GoBuster just works, And I was in a CTF shortly after that, and I lost like a bunch of time because the endpoint that I needed to hit, it was returning a 400, where everything else was returning like a 404 or a 401, something like that. And no, not 401 because that's Awk Basic. But anyways, it was like 404, and this one endpoint returned a 400, but Fuff by default filters that out.
Nice.
So I was like, trying like different word lists. I was like poking all around everything, and I switched over to GoBuster, and GoBuster was like, oh yeah, this endpoint came back, 400, and I'm like, oh, like that's the one I need. And so, I was like, I lost, I don't know how much time, but I was like, okay, IPSEC, like you win. So I switched over to GoBuster after that.
Yeah, I use GoBuster pretty much for everything. Like it's generally my go-to for fuzzing stuff like that. And then I'll pair it with there's a Git repo that's publicly maintained called FuzzDB.
Oh right, yeah, I like FuzzDB.
And I just love throwing it. I just love merging the two together. And then there's a version of FuzzDB called Suchow FuzzDB. Which is like a fork, and it's clearly Chinese because it's got a bunch of Chinese characters on it, but they like add a bunch of other stuff, like the puny code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like they maintain this like other fork with all this stuff in it, and so yeah,
that's super cool.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'll have to go find those forks because I'm a big fan of FuzzDB, and I like using it to like tie in for inputs and stuff.
Yeah. It is really cool that like I haven't heard of Fuff before, but I'm definitely going to check it out because like that's cool that it's written in Rust. Anything that's going to be native code execution is going to be super quick.
Fuff is Golang, and then Ferox Buster is written in Rust.
Oh, Ferox Buster. Okay, yeah. I haven't checked that one out yet.
And so Ferox Buster, I also learned about on UHC. One of our former guest hosts, Ode, who's been on a couple times, and there he is in the chat. One of his is his go-to for web app enumeration. It is super fast. It is like really, really, really fast. And so it just looks cool, like running it. Not going to lie, just the aesthetics of it are like nice. So I love kicking it off just so I can watch it go.
I'm not surprised that like the Rust stuff, like generally speaking, and I hate to, I'm sure people are going to get feathers ruffled, but like generally speaking, Rust stuff is going to be quicker than Go stuff for anything that has to maintain a TCP connection. Mostly because of the way that the Go garbage collector works.
Okay.
Runtime has a hard-coded time-based garbage collector, and what happens is like when your connection needs to exist for a certain amount of time, it's like the cat in the box problem, right? Where like another thread having to look at your attenuated process from runtime eventually slows it down like just a few microticks, and it happens on a poled basis. You can't really turn it off, but you also can't make it happen when you want to, so it can get a little weird. I mean, when you're dealing with scale, obviously it's like super helpful to have that built into your language, but to not, it's a trade-off, right? Like,
sure.
In Rust you have to manually control it, but it's a little bit slower. There's a really good article actually on the that got released by the guys that by Discord actually. Discord actually moved their whole front end to Rust because the Go garbage collector was like causing these problems.
Oh wow.
The scoreboard is now down, so I think Nahamsek finally got to log into Streamlabs.
Thanks, Nahamsek.
Just so y'all know, you can mess around with the CTF strategy. You can mess around with the players as well by going to our Twitch store here on our Twitch channel. You just scroll down. You're gonna probably see the store there. And you can buy time off the scoreboard. You can buy a player screen time. So you want to watch a specific player screen for a little amount of time. You can buy hints to help the players. You can buy a lot of stuff there in the store. But a little thing has changed. Now the store is only available for subscribers. So for you to access the UHC store, you gotta be a subscriber. That way you can buy stuff on the store and mess around with the CTF.
Man. Oh, man. Feroxbuster really is fast. It's quick.
And Ipsec mentioned in the chat that that GoBuster has like a discovery mode that hunts for backups, which I don't know if that's something I've just like has, automatically run and I haven't noticed it, or if that's new, but that also sounds like an excellent feature to have.
That's cool. I know GoBuster also does the DNS stuff too.
Right. Yeah. It's got different modes, right? So you can do like for subdomain discovery, virtual host discovery.
Yeah, subdomain enumeration, yeah.
It looks like Luska here is digging around on YAML stuff, YAML functionality inside of PHP. And I did notice, I think it might have been Luska, it might have been a different player, but the challenge name for the second flag has something about workers in it. And I saw somebody look up PHP workers. And I actually am completely unfamiliar with PHP workers. So I'm very excited to learn what they are, how they can be exploited, and how they tie into this challenge coming up.
Yeah, Donut is over here looking at something on Platform SH that is something deserialized, but also has some kind of worker element. It's
nice. And we just saw, before we switched off, we saw Luska was looking around in HackerOne. And I love seeing that, right? It's like HackerOne's got like reports of like, these are how things get exploited. And so you just go like, I'm playing a CTF. Like I found a bug. This might be applicable. Like go look up a HackerOne report. I think that's so cool.
I find it really interesting that like everybody's trying to, it seems to be popular that everybody's looking for like JSON to YAML converters or some other, like they're trying to convert one object type to a YAML type. I assume they're trying to do that to try to find like parser errors, but it's like YAML, you can just write YAML. So it's interesting to me. I'm like, people are super stuck on this whole like, I need to have something generate my YAML for me.
So let's see. It looks like what Luska is specifying here is the value that's going to go in is going to be a PHP object, and then you have like a serialization bug that gets triggered. And so I wonder if what we saw like at the very early onset, I think it was Cashflow had the code up on the bottom right. I wonder if that was the application code that's being targeted because there was like that unserialized call and it was in PHP. And if so, I feel like just, kind of metagaming here on the history of UHC, when I've seen this situation in the past, it means Kadoo came up with some like interesting way to trigger the bug. And so you got to spend a little bit of time looking at like what the code path is to get to like that actual call that makes the thing happen. It's not just like, oh, let me copy and paste a payload and then, tweak it just a little bit. It's like, you got to actually understand the code that's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, Kaz seems to be doing something similar. He's got some PHP loaded in his base response, and he's it looked like he was he had a page up where he was typing in YAML fields and having them convert to PHP objects below, so he could look at what's in the object and then send those in burp.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, this is pure speculation, but I would guess that whatever the actual bug is similar to the classic. Being able to take a PHP get parameter and like add an object reference instead of just a string or a variable definition because of the way that PHP works. And you can like assign a variable to a function instead of, or like to an object. And then by assigning it to an object, you give it a method and that makes the backend server call the method.
Oh, nice.
So I would guess that there's some magic YAML field you can fill with something that deserializes as a PHP object and then it'll implicitly call a method.
This is one of the more like harrowing aspects of CTF for me is when I come up against something that I've got like no experience with, right? And so what I want is like some time to like dig into it and have, time to like understand it and, really, really get the full grasp of it. But here in UHC, you've got 9 other competitors that are just like off to the races, and maybe one of or more of them already have experience with whatever this bug class is. And so it's like you got to learn like really quickly or find something that works or gets you on the right path so that you're, pulling the right threads.
Yeah, totally. I totally know what you mean. It's I think that's that, like, because you're kind of the same as me, where like we have that reverse engineering thread.
Yep.
And I think having that kind of makes you a little bit slower sometimes, because like it's, you think about the problem different, right? You're thinking about like the whole stack and like in the process of like doing like disassembly stuff and debugging stuff, and it's different than like throwing stuff at a server and trying to make it stick,
Yeah, yep, for sure. I remember stepping through so many functions. Like I could do like a step over a function while debugging and be like, okay, this function, effectively does like get proc address, right? But I'd look at it like, how does it do that? And then I would spend, like some time like going through and being like, oh wow, okay, so it's walking like this part of the like PE like data structure, and then it's like it's finding this library that's linked, and now I'm like, wow, like that's really, really cool. And I could have just in IDA or whatever just been like comment like get proc address and then like on to the next thing.
yeah it's that like some people smoke weed, some people do coke,
I just reverse engineer things and hack things sometimes. Sometimes. On occasion, I've been known to hack a thing or two.
GoBuster's coming out.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cashflow again. Cashflow was the first one on the board, and they've got several PHP classes, and I'm curious if or PHP files, and I'm curious if these where these PHP files came from. I guess maybe they're just copied from this README. Because I see like nil Portuguese something, nil Portuguese serializer, and I was like, oh, like Portuguese, that's what they speak in Brazil. Like, is this like the challenge code? But maybe it's not. But let's see, Typora. Also, I don't know this site either. Or is it a site? Is it an app? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if they just like profiled the application and then they just figured out what it is and they went and pulled the code, or
or if it's just some example code that they pulled down, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen an app that's like built off of example code and you're just like, oh, this looks like this thing, and you just take the some unique string and you're like, this is exactly what it is. Or
like if you ID the library and you'll go pull down another app that uses the same library because you know that the bug is going to scale.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing when you find bugs in libraries like that, and it's like shared across applications, because then you just get like massive shells.
Right? I know, right? That's my favorite. Like you just run strings on something. My favorite is like you go to like Zoom or something and you just run strings on the binary and you just scroll through the garbage until you find like a username that is clearly like they compiled it. Like there's some library of some library of some library of some dependency that was like compiled on somebody's box that still has like C users, whoever it was, and you just go to GitHub and like look for that user and you go, oh, that's the library they use. Okay, I'll just buzz it.
Yep. Yeah, or you figure out like your test suite of targets that you really want to go after, and then you look at what libraries they have in common. I had a friend who found had an Ode library that was used by both Ncase and FTK, which were like the two top forensic tools at the time.
Yeah. Oh, I think I remember this. They gave like a DEF CON talk where like they opened a drive and there was like something on the drive that made it like. It was like a laughing skull or something.
Yeah,
They played a video. I remember that. That was cool.
The laughing skull. Yep, it bounced around. And what's up?
Just so y'all know, the scoreboard is back and Bert is in it. Also with 100 points with the easy flag. So now we have 8 players in the scoreboard.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody's getting paid.
Yeah. And speaking of, we've got 10 minutes left for betting. So if you want to bet, get your coins down now. Amor, can you paste what the player numbers are for the chat?
Yes, I have already pasted in the chat, but I can do it again. Just give me one quick sec. And there we go. Done.
Oh.
And I also gonna get y'all the link directly for the betting page in case the bot doesn't freaking work.
I think Celesian is making some progress. It looks like he's got a parameter. I see this PHP object and then what looks like a parsed object, but I'm not clear if that's. But he's passing that in as like YAML. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, nice. And also Celesian running GoBuster as well, it looks like. With Raft, one of the Raft lists for directory discovery. And just to not put any pressure and to be open, I bet 949 coins on Cause.
Right. Down. Gotta represent, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so here's Celesian looking up PHP workers, and this is great. I get to learn now.
Yeah. I'm not super knowledgeable about this chunk of code at all.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of PHP workers prior to this. So also, what up, Ode? I see you watching. So our previous commentators still have access as commentators, so they are able to jump in and check out the players' screens. Although I think Ode does it and nobody else does.
No. We've got a few of them throughout the weeks. We already caught John Hammond peeking around in a week that he was not a guest. We caught Ipsec looking around. We already caught Nahumsec looking around, and Ode is pretty much every week here just peeking in the private Discord.
Nice.
So well, so y'all know, this is a private Discord. The one that we're streaming here, it is not the one that you have the link for in the chat. The one that the bot gives you the link is the public one where the qualifying round happens and you can meet all of the players and the community and all. And this one that we broadcast here, this is a private one. This is a private server that only players and hosts and guests have access to.
And so, right, if you play in the qualifying round and you finish in the top 10, you can be on this private Discord server for the following day when you play live, and we show the world what you're capable of.
Look at this liar here in the chat.
Oh, I just saw Donut look at some HTML source after loading the page, and there was a PHP value there.
Nice.
I don't know if that was like local or if that was like an attempt at running something and it ended up getting rendered so it looked like a cross-site script, but like.
I see. I'm still watching Celesian, and Celesian's working on a pretty interesting payload where it looks like Celesian's got a class, and then he's like serializing it and then sending it as a PHP object into the original target for the post, the /index.php, but also in the meanwhile, Celesian doing the evergreen approach of having some recon running in the background looking for other attack surface, which I always hear Ipsec say, I think in almost every one of his videos, which I think is also terrific advice.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is cool. So if we take apart the post body there, the name is user file. The file name, it's got a directory traversal, right? You see all the .. // and then like a.yaml, and then the actual content having the bang PHP /object. So telling the remote service you're receiving a PHP object, and here's the object itself. And so I wonder, like, if one of those is not being checked, like, where does that a.yaml wind up, or is it even needed? Or is the user file, like, is that something we should be looking for? Maybe Celesian has looked for it and we just haven't seen it because we were looking at somebody else's screen earlier.
So many busters.
Yeah, right.
So many.
Blue Dragon Sex saying in the chat, this looks like another Kadu moment. No, it's pretty easy. Let me draw it for you, kind of challenge. Yeah. And Virus, the joke there is a couple of weeks ago, and for all the folks that weren't with us a couple of weeks ago,
Kadu had this like really wild Windows forest set up, 2 separate forests, but there was like one entity in one forest that was like a domain admin in the other forest. And then it could like set up this really weird like trust setup, and that was how you got to the root flag. And so he's like explaining it, and I'm like, that makes no sense at all. And he's like, no, it's like this. And he like explains it. He explained it like 4 or 5 times and like different ways. And I'm like, what? Like, and he's like, here, let me just draw it. And so he like shares his screen. He like draws it. And I'm like, that still makes no sense. And also like, who would do that?
I'm imagining like him thinking he's sitting there like corncob type status, and you're looking at him like he's the meme guy from the conspiracy theory, like
yeah, seriously.
Oh boy, look who got the lead on the scoreboard now. Bert in first place with 400 points.
Congratulations, Bert. That's awesome. Bert is a player that I think has been playing for a few weeks now. I know we've seen Bert in the finals here at least, I want to say 4 times, if memory serves. So amazing to see Bert in here in the mix and now running at the front of the pack. That's awesome. Congratulations. Why don't we jump over to Bert's screen and see what they were doing?
That's exactly where we are right now.
Dope. Thank you for being ahead of me on that one. That's why I'm here. But yeah, so I was like, Kadu, like, there's no way, like, this doesn't exist in the real world. And he's like, no, I saw it on a pen test last week. I'm like, where are these places that you're pen testing?
Oh, right, man. I mean, I see a lot of LPE and what looked like a curl download to a script that did a whole bunch of like recon profile checks. So I'm wondering if he landed a shell.
Yeah, it may be. And I can't tell, like the output here is a little blurry on my side, but oh yeah, there it is right there. Lin P's. I recognize that Michelangelo P ASCII art at the top. Yep, and see it in the process listing. So yeah, there's I like LinPs and I like Linux Smart enumeration. I don't know if you've ever seen either of those, Virus.
I've seen Linux Smart. I also like Linux Exploit Suggester. What I really like about it is that you don't have to actually be on the box to do most of the recon. You can just give it a uname A string, and then it'll run that against its internal database. So you don't have to move the whole script to the target, and it'll tell you, oh, try this bug, try this bug, try this bug.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it started as a kernel bug enumeration, so it would just go from 0 to root. And then now that it's been around for a while, the repos had some additional, like now it's got like apt bugs and stuff like that on there.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I remember that one is like, I don't know, something earlier on in my in my adventure days, but I never went back to it, I guess. So I'm adding it to my list now. Linux Exploit Suggester alongside the FuzzDB forks.
Oh man, yeah, the FuzzDB forks are just, they keep on getting. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got a shell. I see him trying to pop into root. So
yeah, and I noticed in the LinP's output there that there was a default user on the system of EC2-user. And so to me, what that says is you are probably on an EC2 instance, probably like an Amazon Linux instance. But also in those situations, that EC2 user by default has root. So you can do sudo su and get, or sudo su and then get like a root shell. And so go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, and like anytime, like, you pop a shell on a Unix variant, like step number 1, find the setuid binary, right? Like,
and one of the things that I forget to do a bunch is like sudo-l. And I can't tell you how many times I've played something like Hack the Box or VulnHub or Try Hack Me. And I'll be off like looking at all kinds of things from like LinP's output or just poking around on the system. And before, I'm like, okay, cool, this process is running, here's a binary with setuid. And then I'm like, oh wait, did I do sudo-l yet? And then I'll like do it, I'll be like, oh shoot. Like immediately like, yeah, you can run this as root, like no password. And I'm like, that was it. I didn't even have to go look around all that much.
Yep. Oh man, look at all the YAML files from everybody.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So one of the rules, or I don't know if it's like a published rule, but we basically don't want the players to be inhibiting the other players. So, like what you potentially could do from this web Apache user shell is you could go in and like mess up the application, but then like we don't allow that. We want all the players to have a fair shot. But I've been in other CTFs. The CTF that I played with My Donut, it was King of the Hill or Hacker of the Hill. And so I think My Donut got on first, started patching the apps right away so that nobody else could get those same bugs. And then that was that. So in this case, we keep the bugs in place. And the hackers are meant to keep the bugs in place so that everybody has a fair chance to get those flags.
This is where my inner shady would come out, and I would just load a web server. I would just load a proxy, and then have the proxy point at localhost, but then log to my box offside, just so that if anybody else got a bug that I didn't have, I would just go back in the proxy logs and be like, "What'd they do?"
Nice. And see, that doesn't necessarily impede, the progress, right?
Like, I don't want to break it. I just want to know what they do to it that I didn't think of.
Right. So we'll see you on next week. Then you're going to compete next week.
Oh no, I don't know, man. These are pros. I don't know if I could hold a candle to these folks.
Oh, come on. You crush it. Plus, we're going to have the IPSec face reveal. And historically, when IPSec has been on, people somehow hack faster. Like, I think there was like 1 week that IPSec was on.
Than this?
Yeah, like Celesian won in like 35 minutes 1 week when IPSec was hosting. I don't know how, but IPSec is just this like magic turbo catalyst for hackers and just makes people go like faster than normal.
Dude.
So, if we had you on next week, you'd be done in like 5 minutes.
I don't know. Man.
Let's see. All right. So Bert's got this shell poking around at the for a bash history file potentially. I generally don't think of the Apache user as having a shell history, but like finding shell history for other users like EC2 user or root or any of the other like actual user accounts on the system, that could definitely be helpful. And yeah, Bert doing the thing I would be doing, scrolling through.
That's what he's trying to do. There's a bug where he scrolled up a little bit and I could read, that's what he was trying to do earlier. That thing, that XPHP object.
Oh, okay.
So apparently the bug exploits that YAML parse function.
Oh.
Where you give it a syntax that equates to a PHP object and the parser internalizes the object as a parameter. So I was kind of right, I think. But
nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's what he's trying to do.
And so Bert doing, like I said, what I would be doing is just scrolling back through the linps output, looking for things that were highlighted as obvious. Like linps will give you a, there you go, / flag. Like I wonder if maybe that's where that second flag was that Bert got. But yeah, looking through and linps, if it finds something that is like 99% sure is exploitable or bad, it'll be like yellow background with red text, and then I think other things that look shady to it like highlights in red.
SQLite database.
Ooh, let's see. Well, this is Yum history though, so I don't know. I would expect.
Oh yeah,
I would expect this. Yeah, this is probably just like packages that got installed or something.
Yeah. Sometimes you can also find like services that are only accessible through localhost too. Like, the database or something is local only and you log into it using the web creds, and then the database might have like, I know like in MySQL and in MS SQL, there are ways that you can do like shell commands from the SQL instance. And so sometimes those run as root.
Yeah. Good point.
Like on Windows, it's XP command shell, and then MySQL, I forget what it is. It's like a bang / something, and then you can tell it run this bash command, and it'll do it.
Oh, nice.
Or if you're really evil, you can do the old select into out file trick and then overwrite a binary and make it set UID root.
Yep. Yeah, I am a fan of that one. I've definitely used that in the past. Just bounced up to check on Cause. Cause is still poking around at PHP and YAML stuff. Let's check on cache flow. Cache flow was first on the board. Cash flow, still looking at PHP stuff around YAML functions.
Yeah.
Or methods. I forget.
YAML parse is a PHP method. That's what he's trying to get at.
I could never remember what languages call a function. Some languages are like, this is a method. Python does like both. It's like if it's like a certain way, it's a function. If it's a different way, it's a method. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's because Python calls itself a functional language, but it's like not. I don't know. It's a horrible rabbit hole. Start debating the difference between objective languages and functional languages, or objects in functional languages versus functions in objective languages.
And what does Golang do? Are they functions?
No, Golang is a. I mean, they are functions, but Golang is a strongly typed language, and it doesn't have inheritance technically. Go has a single generic, so to speak, and this actually might be changing with some stuff that they're doing with the language, where they're introducing some like true generics. But historically, Go's only had one generic, which is an interface, right? And so Go doesn't have literal inheritances the way that you do in other native languages like C, right, where you would like inherit an object and add things to it. In Go, you would have an interface that describes an object, and then you could make multiple objects that satisfy that interface. And the way that they would satisfy that interface is with methods. So you would write functions that are attached to this object as methods, and then you have a function that takes an interface, say, that has a method that takes this, and a method that takes that, and a method that takes that. And as long as it satisfies that interface, then it's a valid parameter. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. It sounds flexible then, right?
It can be. It's. I mean, I find it very flexible. There are a lot of people who have more experience than me with more traditional native languages in like larger scales and writing things other than just tiny exploits. And I have heard those people kind of chagrin it a little bit and just saying it's like weird for weird's sake. But I find it pretty intuitive without having to. I find it a lot simpler than having to truly understand and go down the rabbit hole of like, how does this language deal with inheritances and public versus private and things like that. Like I find it simplifies the tree a little bit.
Nice. Ode in the chat let us know that Celesian's about to get a shell. We see Celesian setting up the Netcat listener on port 1338, and then it looks like they're going to call curl, and let's see if that shell lands. Still listening. But it looked like the request hit, at least from what I saw on the one tab there. Let's see. All right. So yeah, I see that. I very briefly saw the shell payload there.
It's Python.
1338.
Oh.
Huh. Okay, using the reverse shell as a service, reverse.shell.sh. I love it. Okay,
yeah, so he's passing a Python object to a tuple, and then he's using Python to initiate his reverse shell.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, and that's that same bug. See, it's got the bang at the beginning of it. So in the YAML file, they're passing a parameter that apparently it's two bangs, I guess, instead of one bang, which might be what cash flow is missing on their attempts. But apparently you can tell this apparently ridiculous PHP function to just run other stuff and tell it this is an object, this is a Python thing, this is a this is a that, and it'll work.
Huh.
That's what it looks like he's trying to do.
Yeah, this payload looks super shady, so I'm going to put on my shades now at this point.
Yes, shades o'clock. Shades o'clock.
It is shades o'clock. This is wild. Like, I don't know. You could give me 3 hours in UHC, and I don't think I would figure this out. Like, I wouldn't have gotten to this point even. And I think this is Ode's project here, the reverse shell generator, revshells.com, nice. which is a really nice interactive way to just dump reverse shell payloads, easy peasy.
I have a text file with just like 30 of them in there.
Yeah, right. You use grep.
Yeah, well, because like because like, you have a bunch, and then you always like you get on Twitter or social media or something, and then somebody posts one that you haven't seen before, and you're like, oh man, I should take that one. And so I just started squirreling them away, and now I've got a bunch. Like my favorite is I have one now that is a Netcat reverse shell that actually works on OS X.
Oh wow!
Like just using the native one, like without the extra flags. Because like, you go to all these reverse shell sites, and the first thing they tell you is like, no, that doesn't work. Like you need to like the OS X version of Netcat is like modified. It doesn't work, but like it does. You just have to do it super weird, and it involves using a make node.
Oh yeah.
But it works.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that make node and make FIFO as well for just kind of like setting up those objects that you need to then be able to like open the pipe for the communications.
Yeah, and then there's of course the bash stuff, and or you can use any the bash dev TCP or bash dev UDP, and then of course there's like all of the Turing complete languages like Python, PHP, Perl. They all have theirs. Also, Awk has a fully implemented TCP/IP stack embedded inside the binary, so you can actually do Awk shell. Yeah, that's a thing.
All right, I'm adding Awk Reverse Shell to my list now.
Yep. I learned that from Egypt, and then went and Googled it, and like found somebody else's like, here's a reverse TCP/IP shell using only Awk. I was like, yes, I'm taking this.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Is like, who showed you this? Was it Egypt?
Yeah, well, Egypt told me about the stack, and then I went and Googled the stack and was like, oh, of course there's somebody doing a reverse shell using this. Thank you. Save that guy for later.
All right, O'Day, you might have a pull request coming in soon.
Yeah. My favorite like implant for a reverse shell is in Go you can do IO redirection really easily with Go routines. So you just like command.exec whatever you want, and then you remap the standard out, standard in, standard error of the command object to your socket object, and then you just click like hit start, you hit exec, and it's done.
Nice. Yeah,
it's cool because then you get reconnections too, and you also get multi-tenancy, so you can handle multiple shells.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and when you do that, you get it's platform independent, right? So like you don't have to make a different thing, and you get regular IO. So like it works on PowerShell, works with Bash, works with Fish, works with whatever.
Wow. And that's all like from the same listener. You can get multiple shells coming in that way?
Yeah, multiple types.
Wow.
I probably should I have a little quick, it's like 15 lines of code that's like the quote unquote implant to do it. It's not really secret. It's just most people don't use it that way. I should probably stick it online somewhere.
Yeah, you should submit a PR to O'Day's reverse shells generator.
I can do that. Yeah, I should do that.
Man, I'm like, it looked promising. I thought Celesian was about to get this shell here, but no shell yet.
It's a battle.
I know. And Celesian, once Celesian gets a shell, usually is like,
Scoreboard is back on, and it's still the same.
Akarda's over there trying to mess with ngrok.
Nice.
He's actually crafting a PHP file that'll call back to ngrok, and then using ngrok as a bounce. I like that.
Yeah. We've seen a number of players use ngrok, and it seems to be pretty solid. Although, given that you're in the VPN setup, you shouldn't necessarily need to bounce out and then back in. You should be able to catch the shells directly, but I guess sometimes that's not always the case. Or maybe I don't know what the infrastructure is underneath, but definitely I've seen environments where you can't just throw yourself a shell directly. Why would this box ever talk to this other box on the same subnet? That's not what should happen. And maybe there's a firewall rule in place or something that prevents it, or a network ACL or something.
Yeah, I know one of the things I like to do on gigs is use Wormhole.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, Wormhole's rad. It's a file transfer Python API thing where it's kind of like ngrok, only it's designed for file transfers. But you can just use the socket, but I like to just use it to just do payload transformation and then have it call home.
Didn't Firefox have a file share service or something like Mozilla had it through Firefox, and you could use that for different communications?
You can. Also WebRTC. You can use a WebSocket.
Yeah.
WebSocket's a fun one because then it like sits in your browser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all want to stay on Celesian, or do you want to bounce around?
I've been bouncing around to cash flow and you know, Bert's been poking at some stuff. Still poking at this shell.
I keep thinking Celesian's about to get it. It looks like so close. The HTTP requests are landing, right? So the curl is actually hitting, but then it's just like not executing. I don't know. We can come back to Celesian. I have a feeling Celesian will like we'll get this like as soon as we switch off.
A watched terminal never shells.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a watched pot never boils.
Exactly. Yep. Who should we check on?
I'm looking at Kaz right now. He seems to be still messing with the parameter, but he's switched to a Python object.
Oh, nice. Cool. I dropped in on Bert, and Bert is still poking around in their shell.
Yo, you should go explore. I'm here with Celesian just to make sure we're catching this, but go on and watch around the screens.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's see. So interesting.
I just saw Celesian's executing a bash command that just did an ls back to the listener.
Excellent. All right, I'm bouncing back to Celesian.
Okay, there's 3 dots. There's the LSA 3 dot. Oh, he's getting a command.
Yeah, so that is RCE.
He's got command. Yeah, he's got command execution.
Grepping for the flag with that RCE.
Yeah. Oh,
there it is.
Oh, there it is.
But is that maybe the first flag? Like he didn't grab it and submit it right away, so I got to think that's
that might have been the first flag. It was
not
whatever.
the new flag. But I love.
Whoa! What was that?
So,
that's the RPM package.
So yeah, now you got to do like a grep-l, I think, so that you can at least get the file names and then look at those. You
know what? This is PHP. He might have had the problem previously where like sometimes PHP won't let you have static TCP socket sessions open because the relationship between PHP and the web browser will actually turn them off. So you get command execution, but you don't get the shell unless you start your own socket. Because what happens is the thread dies. Like after it's run that PHP file, then the thread that's attached gets seen as a resource, and the garbage collector cleans it up.
Huh.
I have had that problem before on like trying to get web shells to land, where it's like I know I'm getting command execution, but I can't get a reverse shell, and I don't know why.
Huh.
So I end up like playing with. I mean, now I have some other tricks on how to do advanced forking. But
I've just heard here on the Brazilian channel that Bert has a shell. He just need to explore it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we saw Bert with the shell earlier, and Bert had run linpeas, which is a Linux privilege escalation something suite. I forget what the A is, but yeah. So we can see in the middle there. That's the shell that Bert has on the target system, the remote system, and now it looks like he's just kind of doing some enumeration. The basic stuff, and using Hacktricks, one of my favorite websites. Just has so many details. Every time I come across something, Hacktricks like usually one of my first stops if I don't already know where I want to poke at or what I want to look at.
It's notify socket. It's got a system denotify.
Oh yeah.
You can do stuff with that. What? Trony? What is that?
Where's that?
There's a user on there called CHRONY. I'm like, what is Trony?
Right, yeah. And that's a funny thing, right, is the more and more that you poke around at systems, the more you start to kind of like make a mental inventory of like, this looks, what I'm used to seeing. This is not what I'm used to seeing. So like Trony or Crony or Cronny, whichever, right? That is not something I'm used to seeing. So I would be curious, like, what is that? I would start digging around there as well.
I'd be looking at that user too, because I haven't seen that user before. So I'd be like, does that user have a home directory? Does that home directory have a bash like shell history? Like what?
Yeah, exactly.
Start reading the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to pop in on My Donut just because I want to see how they're doing. My Donut's always got some cool stuff going on. Looks like My Donut's still poking at the worker stuff with the YAML.
Oh my god. Kaz is passing Java.
Ooh.
Wait, is he JavaScript Engine Manager? Is he using Java to run JavaScript?
Ode just said Celesian finally got one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you finally got one to land? Nice.
Oh, people asking in the chat if there's only 8 players. No, we have 8 players, but we have 2 of them out of the scoreboard. That means they have not submitted any flags so far, which who is Oda, the newcomer Oda, and who else? Ricardo? Is Ricardo in the scoreboard?
Let me double check here, but I think you're right.
No, he is not. Okay,
Yeah.
so Oda and Ricardo are not in the scoreboard so far. They just haven't submitted any flags, but we have 10 players tonight, y'all.
Yes, 10 players, and I think that...
And scoreboard now.
Is that Liz P?
Yeah, yep. So yeah, it looks like Celesian finally got that shell. Is the directory /home/user/PlayStation? What is that?
Not sure if Ponage or Jank.
Right, yeah. Like, oh yeah, we forgot to tell you the box tonight is a PlayStation 5.
It's one of my favorite things about CCDC. Like, you get into a box and it's like Pony Shell, and you're like, is this a red team thing, or is this box just that broken? Because black team is mean to us.
Yeah. How many years have you been doing CCDC now?
Oh man, 12, 13, 14,
Ooh.
something. A while. Yeah, I don't do nationals every year. I don't do regionals every year, but I usually do one or the other, and then some years I do both. It was a lot easier before children. Now it's harder because like travel and prep and stuff.
Yeah. Look, Celesian did the thing that I always forget to do early on and ran sudo-l. Good.
Kaz was getting I just saw a class path with a flag in it.
Oh, nice.
BRB. Why you do that to me, man? Why you do that? You can't show me a flag and then BRB.
That is... We were talking about this last week. This was like something that happened. We saw one of the players, I think it was Wade. They like got a flag and they were doing something that looked really promising. And as soon as we talked about it, they were like, they put Notepad up like full screen and they wrote BRB, and then they didn't do anything until we left. And I'm like, I think this is like like diverting attention. like go look over there. Like leave my screen alone.
Mass Changer asking here in the chat if we have any upcoming CTF. If yes, where he can find details. Where they can find details. Mass Changer, we have CTF running every week. UHC is weekly. So if you want to be part of the UHC competition, you just have to go to our Discord server, the public one, not this private one. I just typed !Discord so you can have the link. And once you're there, you just wait for Saturday, which is the day that the qualifying round happens. If you just want to play around, or if you want to actually qualify for the finals here on Twitch, it's your choice. But just be sure to be part of the Discord server so you can play with us. And it is weekly. You can also play other CTFs with everyone there on the Discord server, because the community, the players, and everyone have fun around. Try Hack Me and Hack the Box and whichever CTF you want to play.
Yeah, and by all means, please do join. The Saturday qualifying rounds are super fun. They run for 24 hours from 8 a.m. Brazilian time to 8 p.m. Brazilian time, 8 a.m. the following day. Sorry, 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But it's open to everybody. It's free to play. So definitely jump in the Discord and join. All the players that you see here are also playing on the qualifiers as well. That's how they got here to the Sunday night. I saw Celesian dump the source code for the PHP. It was like var www html index.php. Yeah. And then inside of there was a shell exec Oh, nice. So there's the second
There's another
flag.
flag. Yeah.
Nice. And inside of that index.php was PHP call to shell exec, and then Python // and then I think like parse.py or something like that. And then I think I saw Celesian go for that parse.py file to take a look and see what the actual contents were there.
Yeah, there was like a flag in there, but I think it was the first flag.
Okay, yeah. And then we saw the second flag at /flag. So I guess you probably could get that from the web vantage point as well without getting a shell if you knew that's where it was.
Yeah.
And it looks like Celesian is grabbing a tool, which I'm not necessarily familiar with. PSPy 64?
64? I've never seen this before.
Yeah, new one for me. Adding
See
to the
some new
list.
stuff. All right.
This is amazing. I love it.
Peace
Oh,
Pie?
PSPy, yeah. Okay.
Like as in process spy, it looks like?
Yep, that's what I'm getting from it.
We
'cause it's doing
just something really funny happened at the same time that we were looking here at the screen and thinking like, what is this? What tool is this? Like, what are they doing? The same moment happened in the Brazilian channel when where they are looking at a player screen like, what the hell is he using?
Celesian stumping all of the hosts.
Yep.
All in one shot.
It's another player. They're watching another player. Let me see who they're watching. They are watching Cashflow or John.
Okay.
I don't know which. I think probably John, because it's
Nice.
Igor probably broadcasting his screen.
So from this output, I'm kind of getting it's just like LSOF essentially.
It looks like LSOF, but it looks like there's some process stuff too. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool.
Oh, I get it. He's looking at what's doing write actions on files, because if you see a flag file pop up and you know what process has access to it, right? Then you can then you know what to go after. That's smart.
Yeah, and one thing that I saw Celesian do earlier was look for files that were modified like in the last 3 days. And so that can also tell you like here's where the flag is. If it's not obviously named /flag, it's like buried in some weird directory or something like that. It's a good way to look for interesting files on a system, especially in a CTF.
Because I'm pretty sure this is streaming right now. Yeah, that was streaming the whole time. So he was just looking at like something would happen and a bunch of files would show up because there was a process refresh, and then he'd hit enter to kind of have a visual gap and then let it keep going. That's very meta. Metagaming.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool to see the players, kind of develop that sixth sense about CTF and then, implement it live. Let's see. So Celesian, I think, is pretty close here. And to be honest, I kind of was like, once Celesian or Kaz gets a shell, it's probably going to be over really quickly. Yep. So we'll see. And Kaz, I'm just checking on Kaz. It looks like he is kind of doing the same thing we were talking about with like grepping for the flag. And so using that inside of the payload to then just like pull the flag contents back out without necessarily needing the shell. But then he had CyberChef up on the left side. And I was wondering if CyberChef maybe had some kind of, serialization recipe or something like that. I've used CyberChef mainly for just like random encodings and decodings, but I haven't really dug into CyberChef all that much. Yeah,
I looked at it a little bit a while ago. I want to say a few years ago when it started to kind of gain popularity, and I dig the recipe thing, and I think that's where people find it useful. For me, it just kind of felt like Decoder and Burp, only with less steps.
Right.
But I mean, to each your own.
Yeah, I mean, I really dig that you can like chain, the payloads, and so you can say do a Base64 decode, then do a ROT13, and then do this other thing, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think Bert's just been going for root. Like I saw him earlier looking at like a compile this C and then run it, and then you get root. I'm like, man, he's just trying to pop this kernel.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, I saw the P64 show up. process. So either this is something similar, or he's the same trick, right? And then cash flows or Celesian's tool just showed up in the output in this list.
Yeah, I think Bert also ran the piece by that's what that output looks like to me. And then it looks like he lost his shell, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
this is kind of what we were talking about before, where it was like, well, you don't want to break the box because that's against the rules, but you might like spy on other players to like steal what they're doing, right?
Oh, look who's in third place now. So Bert in first with the 400 points, Celesian second, and John, the winner, now in third place.
Yeah, what up?
Let's take a look.
If we can.
Yeah. And
do your prayers. Do your prayers. Yeah. Oh my fucking.
Type F in the chat for John's screen. press F to pay respects to John's screen.
It's just so freaking hard to watch him. Why? Jesus.
Security through obscurity. Nobody can see what you're doing. This is like some remix of like the quieter you are, the more you can hear. It's like the lower bandwidth you have, the less people can see about you, or something like that.
Yes. Oh man.
I'm gonna bounce back to somebody else. I think I feel like Kaz was kind of getting close there. Oh yeah, so Kaz definitely has RCE now.
Yeah.
And it's like it's such a simple payload that for me, like if I saw this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this was it.
Like, and he's doing the same thing that I think Celesian was doing, or that Cashflow was doing earlier when they couldn't get the shell to stick. Is he's just using the command execution to run the commands directly.
Kaz expressing the frustrations.
Yes. Uh-oh, Docker's coming out.
Wait, did it look like hold on. It looked like Kaz had the second flag also.
Yes, that is indeed true.
Yeah, he does. And so he's pulling down Paku in a Docker container. I think what Kaz is going to try to do, perhaps, is run a Paku scan from inside the instance by piping a shell that way. Yep. He's doing a curl, so I bet you he's going to pull down. He's gonna do a curl control, and then I bet he's gonna hit the metadata service.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is I
did a very big thing that I still can't talk about with that metadata service one time.
we have seen a lot of the UHCs are built on AWS, but they rarely leverage AWS. The challenge is infrequently the actual AWS service or services or the plane or whatever. And so last week was maybe the second one that I can remember where actually attacking the services. But we've had
what Kaz is doing. I just want to just while he's doing it, what he's doing is the AWS metadata service that runs inside the AWS environment. It's a way for you to write services that run on EC2 systems that can know about where they are in the EC2 environment by querying the server that just spits back a JSON blob. And if you don't lock down the roles that run your EC2 instances, the keys of the roles that the instances are running comes back in the metadata service. So if you just log in as your root role and then you start a service and that service gets popped, someone can use a shell on that service to hit the metadata instance inside AWS and pull down your root key because that's what's loaded, and then connect to your infra directly.
Yep. Yeah, you can configure, the AWS CLI, or you could use the SDK for any of the languages like Bodo 3 for Python. But then, you've got those access credentials that then let you start programmatically interfacing with the environment. And at that point, it's not that you've got a shell inside the EC2 instance. It's that you've got access to the AWS environment. So you could be like, I would like to create a new Lambda, or I want to create a new S3 bucket. And so one of the things here that I think might be problematic is only with RCE, if you've got IMDS v2, which is the newer version of the metadata service, it actually requires 2 separate requests. You've got to do a put first, if I remember correctly, and then you got to get the token back, and then that allows you to communicate with the metadata service so that you can actually get those access creds out. Now, not every EC2 instance runs with IMDS v2, so that may not be the case here. But if it were me, I would definitely be going for an interactive shell where I could then just do I could control the curl or wget or whatever that reaches out and actually communicates with the metadata service.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's dope. Kaz got a second shell, got the RCE, and so hopefully...
Luska also got the second flag and is now in 5th place with 400 points as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's bounce down to Luska.
If this were me,
we are already watching Luska.
Nice.
If this were me, this is definitely where I would just drop a payload. I would just drop a binary on the file system from the web shell and then use the web shell to execute it and have the binary just hook just migrate into the process and then start my shell from there, so I didn't have to worry about losing my socket.
Yeah, for sure. And I've definitely done that, or at least just as far as using my RCE to pull down a payload and then using the RCE to execute it to throw myself a shell.
Yeah. Because I think Kaz is about to run into the same problem that some of the other players had, where because it's PHP and because it's Apache, that you're not going to be able to maintain that socket. It's because the socket needs to be in a doubly forked thread.
And just so y'all know, we are now 6 minutes past mid-game.
Nice. Whoa. Do you see this? Can I write in network scripts? You have write privileges on the if down, if up stuff.
Whoa. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That seems super dangerous.
Yeah. Although I guess you have to be able to trigger those scripts, but which I feel like you need root privileges to do, but I don't know. But yeah, and so Virus, you and I are kind of thinking along the same lines there with going after the access credentials. And I don't know, what's kind of surprising to me is that we rarely see players go after them, right? Once they get on the EC2 instance, they're just thinking about the privilege escalation locally on the EC2 instance. How do I get a root shell? Or how do I pivot to some other system, as opposed to how do I control the entire environment where these compute instances are running?
Yeah.
Because once if you've got the right access, you don't even need the root shell. You can just pull the snapshot or pull the volume, and then just pillage and go through the file system and be like, oh, here it is.
Yep. Or you do the I can pivot around inside the environment and I have very limited shell access, but the environment is not very well segmented. So you go fishing around for their Nessus instance or their kube control. It's all just web proxy at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, so I think we said Ricardo was on the board. So we've got 9 out of 10 players on the board now, and I think OTA is.
Yes, Ricardo.
the
Sorry, I wrote it wrongly.
At some point, Bert did have 100 points and was on the board, and now Bert still is on the board.
I was watching the Brazilian live stream, and they were talking about Bert, and the brain sometimes malfunctions when you're listening to 2 languages at the same time.
You were literally crossing the streams.
That's some hardcore Erlang going on inside your brain. Being able to just fault tolerantly parse of language A did not win, but keep language B going. That's some advanced Johnny mnemonic skills.
Just so y'all know, just so everyone knows why I'm always so quiet. I am watching both of the live streams. I am also managing the stream here, what we see, what we don't. So everything here on Discord, it's me navigating. I am also paying attention in the chat and replying to everyone in the chat. And I'm also doing the exact same thing on the Brazilian live stream, also interacting on the chat. So it is a little bit of a lot of things that I do. That's why I'm always so quiet.
but you do amazingly at it.
Yeah, yes. It's one thing to speak more than one computer language. Even languages are harder.
There was 1 week that I was hosting, and it was a struggle, to say the least. I was like, how does Marina make this look so easy?
Man.
Floating around. Who are we watching now? We're watching Luska here. Do y'all want to jump around any other player? Celesian or Bert?
Yeah, I bounced down to Celesian because Celesian's got a shell where he's doing like your normal like privilege escalation stuff, but then he's also got another shell where he's running Paku. And so it looks like that's like that, AWS control plane attacking as well as the inside the instance, attacking.
Yeah, Kaz is running Paku too from inside.
Nice. So did Kaz got that shell?
He did. At least I think he did.
Nice.
Maybe I saw him load Paku through ngrok, and I think he was trying to bounce off ngrok to the Paku runtime. But I think maybe either that failed because the shell didn't stay open or something, and I think he's trying to either regain or trying to do what you were talking about earlier and have a actual interactive shell.
Got it. Cool. I'm just keeping an eye on Celesian here, and I'm just going to be kind of like back and forth because Paku is like it's pretty nice. You can do like a lot of cool things with it given the right permissions on your role or your user that you've got. So I'm kind of curious, but Celesian looks like is just kind of hanging out in the environment where he feels most comfortable, I would guess. And just his original shell and poking around on the system. So I'm going to bounce over to Kaz. Is that where y'all are at right now?
Yeah, I was checking out Bert.
Okay.
Blue Dragon Sec asking, what's this fancy odd terminal Kaz is using?
Burp on the left side, but I did see if Blue Dragon Sec is asking about the other terminal, yeah, it looks like Z Shell, and then it looks like just terminal. So it's probably, okay, XFCE4 term, according to Kaz. So I think it's just configured with, like no border, no window decorations, no tabs, and
my Z Shell. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Kaz
truly
we absolutely love you. Thank you for replying.
Yeah.
Kaz, a little hacker hipster running Z Shell.
He is a guest even when he's just played out, not actually being a guest on stream.
Yes. Kaz is the people's choice.
My 3-year-old is paging me. I might have to dad life here in a bit.
No worries. If you need to bounce, we totally
go for it.
We got like a few more minutes. I want to see some shell action.
Yeah, right. I feel like now that that Celesian and Kaz are this close, I feel like we're gonna get there pretty quickly.
I mean, Bert's been living in this thing for a minute. I feel like he just needs to figure out what the question is actually asking, because he's been doing a lot of recon and a lot of like root attempts. I mean, he's been looking up CVEs, trying to pop kernel bugs. Like, clearly he's had some time in this shell.
Yeah, and one of the things that's fascinating about UHC and all CTFs is everybody has different strengths, and so it's really possible that you get to a certain point and you're like you bread and butter, no problem, and then what up, Wade? And then you get to that next point and you're just like, I've never seen this before. I'm not sure what to do here. Or you try all the things that and none of those pan out, and then you're just kind of throwing stuff and seeing what sticks. So we've totally seen folks jump out in the lead, get out in front early on, and then somebody comes up behind and figures out like, oh, I'm much more familiar in this situation, and they overtake the lead.
Yeah.
So it's really anybody's game.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I mean, you see he's looking at like overflows and looking up like recent kernel CVEs.
Today we also learned that Marina is a cyborg. I saw somebody earlier said that IPSEC is a cyborg, but now it turns out Marina is one also, according to Kadu. And
Look who's talking.
if anybody knows about cyborgs, I got to say it's Kadu, because he's the one making 2 unique CTF environments every single week for UHC.
That is, as somebody who ran a CTF for like 6 years, that is an intense endeavor.
Yeah, it is wild. And they're all like, I mean, some of the technology stacks are the same. Like we've had a couple weeks where there was like Laravel, and then there was like Laravel the following week, but the bugs were different. And so, I don't know how Kadu does it. Just comes up with these amazing chains. I think he's just like always hacking everything all the time, and then just shares a little bit of his experience with us through UHC.
And he does not drink, so he is not drinking all the booze. He's just straight up hacking all the things.
Yes, nonstop, as it would seem.
I think I've finally hit third and final warning on my 3-year-old bugging me about dinner, so I might have to dip. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But, I will try to bounce back in and see the riveting conclusion of who will escalate first.
All good. Well, we appreciate the time that you were able to join us, Virus. Always good to see you, man.
Definitely. Likewise. All right. Hopefully I'll be back.
Okay, we'll catch you.
All right.
All right.
It's just me and you, Amor.
Oh boy. Sounds extremely familiar. Like an entire year of social distancing at home.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we get married and move in together and live together in the same house?
Oh my God, yes, just wait a minute.
Okay, I'm waiting. 58, 57, 56, 55.
Let's move in together.
Oh, caralho. Oh, that was all it took. That was easy. I should have asked earlier.
Oh, shit. People in the chat. Oh, wow, you live together. Yes, we are actually married, y'all.
Yeah,
Blue Dragon say, get a room. We got you, as you've seen.
Yeah, right. We technically have 2. Teleportation is a real thing. Best hack of all. Y'all are amazing. I love y'all. This is great.
Without Kim's, hopefully. Oh, I mean, well, sure.
But we just have the covers, right? This works okay, right?
Yeah. People say hackers still don't go through the webcam covers, right?
Right. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, not fooling us. We all know cyborgs can teleport. This is true. And Brisket's saying IRL reverse shell. I love it. That was the best callback I ever got.
All right. So who we're watching here? Kos. We are watching Kos.
All right. Let's check in here. So Kos got CyberChef up doing the Base64 encoding. I really like this technique as well. So what you can do is, if you're worried that you're running into some set of escaping issues, right? Like URL encoding and quotes and backslashes or whatever. What you can do is take your payload, run it through Base64 encoding. So then you just get this alphanumeric string with, I don't know, maybe plus and slash and equal signs. But these aren't like characters that generally need to be escaped. And so then you can take that Base64 string and put that as your payload, and then pipe that into Base64 decode. And then pipe that into shell. And so what will happen is you kind of bypass all of those encoding and escaping issues that you might be encountering, and then you still end up getting your payload to execute. So really good strategy. And I've used it in the past where I just can't figure out how to use, the spaces or the backslashes correctly. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to. I'll just Base64 encode it and decode it on the other end. So let's see here. Kos looks like setting up a listener on 8888 and got the ngrok listener, checking out the payloads. 14663, doing the base64 encode. Kaz already has the RCE working in the payload there. Now let's see, does this work? Do we get a shell? Because I think once Kaz gets a shell, it's going to be in pretty good shape. So yep, Kaz checking that the decode worked. It does. The string there on the right side in burp repeater matched up with the payload, so that's looking good. Now Kaz writing it out to a file, which is cool. And then I think you might be able to just straight up request the file or run a Python command. Let's see what we get here. So basically what you're trying to do in this situation is Kaz is trying to get an interactive shell to come back so that he can be hands-on keyboard inside of the EC2 instance. And right now he's got remote code execution, so he can tell the box, please execute this code for me, but he's trying to get it to actually send him an interactive connection. I'm going to bounce and check on cache flow. Because cache flow was the first one on the board. Also, one of the first, I think it's cache flow's first time playing on UHC.
Just a quick interesting interaction here. Ode saying he is hacking into our into our stream pretty soon to be a part of the host panel. Ode, check out your Instagram DMs, bro. Go check your Instagram DMs, and we're waiting for you here.
Nice. Well, that would be cool to have a surprised Ode drop in.
All right, so you going? You want to watch cache flow, right?
Yeah, we're watching cache flow right now, and looks like cache flow's got that same setup with that other folks were using with the bang bang Python, and then specifying a new object, and then being able to put the RC. Yo, what up? Amazing.
I came
Surprise!
in here to call the cops.
Oh, everybody, welcome Ode. Put a 0 in the chat for Ode joining us on the stream as a last.
Hey, everybody.
Yay!
Second edition. It was amazing. Thanks so much for jumping in.
I figured I'd jump in here. I was in the old backstage, just waiting for you guys to let me in, but I don't think you even knew I was there.
Yeah. So the URL changes every week.
Of course, but
because of
hackers. I don't know how you
hackers.
have it set up with. I don't want to say the name, but I don't know how you have it set up.
But yeah, so Ode, from what you've seen so far, what's looking like the most promising situation for the players in your perspective?
Well, to me, it seems that AWS would be what I'd be going for right now. I've been watching Celesian the entire time. To be honest with you, I've been listening to the stream and popping in and out, but watching Celesian, and it just I haven't seen anything personally, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Sure. Yeah, and that's kind of my go-to is once I can get some kind of interaction in the AWS environment, I'm like, how can I get the AWS creds? May not always, pan out, right? If you got like the instance role is locked down pretty well, then you may not get anything out of those creds. But yeah, it's, definitely something to look for. Also, thank you. Appreciate the kind words.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Carlos. Yeah, so I really don't know. It's my trick, which I want to help them. I wish I could just post in the chat, but Zach taught me a little trick with one of his videos. And basically what you do is you scan for for example, like user sbin, user bin, like the whatever would be in your path, and then you check the time style as full. So if your system creates a file, it's going to be all zeros on the timestamp. If somebody modifies a file, it's not going to be all zeros because just the odds of a file being created at exactly that whatever the highest second down to, I don't know, six decimal places. I would grep for those timestamps and see what files on the system have been modified. It's a combination of what Celesian was doing. He was doing M time, but this is a little bit more precise and helps me a ton in CTFs.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I remember that discussion with IPSEC, and I've loved that observation about like humans behave this way, machines behave this different way, and this is how you can like distinguish between the two.
Right, and it helps me. I mean, a lot of CTFs that I do, I run that, especially when you when if you have some type of privilege access and you run it, where you can read, files or whatever the case is. Sometimes you're root on a CTF, and there's no root in the root directory, root flag in the root directory. So it comes in handy a lot, and I learned that from him. So if I could paste that command in the chat, I think that would help everybody, but I don't want to cheat.
Well, here on Kaz's screen, we saw that Kaz finally got that reverse shell, and then immediately went for the instance metadata service, got the access credentials out of the metadata service, and then used Paku to generate a URL to then go poke around in the AWS console. So now what Kaz could be doing is running running payloads with Paku, and then also just looking around in the AWS console. But it looks like this is pretty locked down, right? You see all these like explicit denies everywhere, like, oh, sorry, you're not allowed to list users. And I saw something that like, there was like nothing that came back in the EC2 page, whereas looking at like what roles are available, what network interfaces are available, or security groups or whatever that shows. So I wonder if, oh, nice. Okay, so we haven't seen this one yet in UHC, but Weird Owl, which is a framework or toolkit made by Karnal Onage, has some really cool AWS techniques in it as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Celesian's also doing, he's still in Paku. He's trying to get something. I mean, he's got the keys, he's got the token, he's got everything he needs, but I don't know if Paku's going to do it for him this time. We'll see. And
yeah,
Carlos, it doesn't seem like AWS is the option here.
Yeah, I've kind of got the feeling that, and this is just me, speculating, but I've got the feeling that it may not be an AWS attack vector in this particular one. It might be a Privesk, or maybe you need to pivot or something like that. Although I think I saw Celesian do like an IPA, and there was only one network interface, so it's probably not pivoting, I don't think. Usually when it's pivoting in UHC, that's like dual home, so you see another interface with a different IP range.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would be thinking something around local Privesk here on the box, but that's just my guess given what I've seen Kadu do historically in UHC.
Understood. Yeah. It would be super cool to see it happen again. It seems like this AWS instance is locked down, but you never know. There's so much to AWS and so many permissions that can be set incorrectly that there may be another unintended this week. We'll see.
Yeah, good point. And that would be hilarious, right? It's like, oops, I was able to do this one thing that let me attach a new policy onto this role, and then I was able to assume into that role, and then like blow everything wide open.
Exactly. That was great last week.
Let's see. All right, so Kaz just making notes of the credentials, and I guess setting everything up with Weird Owl, or maybe just doing the AWS config. I have to go look up the variable names all the time for this. Like, what is it? AWS access key ID? Is it, like, I forget. And there's also like AWS default region, I think, is another one. You can have multiple profiles, I think. So there's like AWS profile, but I always have to look them up because I can never keep them straight. Thank goodness for the internet.
Yeah, thank goodness. Oh, and speaking of hack tricks, you guys brought it up earlier. I think you said it's one of your favorite sites. RevShells.com is officially featured on hack tricks and payload all the things. So super happy about that.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. I was looking at my analytics on Netlify, and I saw there was a huge spike in the amount of unique visitors, and I was wondering why. So I talked to Brisket, who also who did a ton of the design and JavaScript and refactoring, and we did a ton of work on this project. And he said, well, someone tweeted about it. Then I started sorting by Google results by the week, and saw there was it was on hack tricks. So it has to be from that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations, man. It's a really dope site. I really like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I look forward to Virus submitting the PR for the Awk Reverse Shell.
Yeah. I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. I'm going to add a miscellaneous section in there because it's getting a little bit crowded with shells, and I don't want people to, get lost in the shells that are very rare. The ones you'll use very, very infrequently.
Yeah, you could call it like precious rare earth metal shells or something like that.
Exactly. Like a C# shell. It's just not going to happen. Very often.
Yeah. All right. So Cause is, I think, still just kind of situating the config, and then nope. All right. So Weird Owl not quite yet ready to run for Cause, and then I think I saw Cause run there was like a payload that does like a bunch of checks, and it looked like it came back with a bunch of denies. So oh yeah, and so here it looks like it found 5 allowed permissions. Paku found 5 allowed permissions and 5 unknown permissions, and then 197 denied permissions. So to me, that seems like it's pretty locked down. But I would also be curious to know what those 5 allow permissions are, so that I could take a look at those and see if there's something there. Right? It's kind of that situation of like when you poke at a box and you find like 5 services listening, as opposed to finding like 50 services listening, right? Because when there's 50 services, you're like, oh, like where do I start? When there's 5, you're like, you have pretty good idea of where to start usually. So let's see what
Mass Changer here in the chat asking if other players can still play the CTF just for fun without sharing their screen on the Discord. Yes, but only on the qualifying rounds, exactly like Kadu just explained. You can go on the Discord server and play the qualifying round just for fun. The qualifying round is always offline, so it is not broadcasted here on Twitch. And if you get qualified and don't want to be on the live stream on Twitch, you just don't play the finals. You open your spot for someone else to play here on Twitch. But yes, you can play the qualifying round and opt out of the final.
Nice.
If you get qualified, of course.
That's like the O'Day MO, right? O'Day you play the qualifying round every week, you crush it, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch in the in the finals.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I actually didn't play yesterday. I have family in town right now. They're actually in the other room. But I figured, take a week off of the qualifiers. But I promise you guys one day I will be competing in this live. I just have to get my ego in check.
I know you're going to crush it when you play live. I feel like every week that I've seen you in the qualifiers, you always finish faster than everybody else does. Your line is like almost vertical on the scoreboard.
Well, I appreciate that. It's one thing when you're doing something alone, listening to music, and you got your hood up, you got your hacker EDM going, and then when you're on Twitch and Marina, dual core, we got Brazilians speaking languages I don't understand. There's a lot. It's a lot of stress.
For sure, that is totally understandable, and it is fun to like have that challenge sometimes. But other times it can be not the kind of stress that you might be after.
Right. I mean, I'm going to do it regardless, but I don't want to lose.
No doubt. I appreciate that about you, Ade. It's like I think that shines through, right? Because you're top on Try Hack Me, and that's like an incredible feat. I don't know anybody else that can do that.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and I
also
try my best.
For those who are listening, if you're shy or you're afraid of playing the finals, if you noticed Oda and other players that have a little less points on the scoreboard, they are featured less here on the broadcast. So we put the spotlight on those who are actually playing for the win. So if you don't want to be broadcasted and still play in the finals, live streaming your own screen, you just don't submit the flags, play around, just have a little fun, but don't show up in the scoreboard. That's a way of, playing it without the pressure.
That would actually be a cool idea if I didn't submit any flags and then and then just last second, just submit all 3.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like Oda's been sitting on all 3 flags, and they're just chilling. They're just like scoping around the environment, hanging out. No big deal.
Yeah, I'll just wait for them to submit 2, and then as soon as I see 2, boom, it's over.
And then they're like, "Oh wait, what time is it? 55. Oh shoot. Okay, boop boop boop. All right, I'm done. I won."
Yeah. I would like to be the first blood and root in the same conversation.
Nice. That would be amazing. And honestly, of all people that have participated in UHC, I think you would be the one to do it, Ode. Like I said, you're always so fast in the qualifying round. I could totally see you being first blood and having the root flag already.
We used to have a player that would run with that strategy. He would go for all the flags and he would collect flags, and at the last minute he would submit. So he would sit on flags to submit just in the last minute. It was Afonso. He played around for a lot of the editions right there in the beginning, but then he got really busy with his work and just stopped showing around. But we did already have someone that crazy here on UHC.
Okay, well then I wouldn't be unique. That's perfect.
Well, yeah, although Alfonso would wait until the end to drop flags, right? And so what I think would be different with you, Ode, is that you would have all the flags up front early, within, the first hour, and then you would just drop or in the first 30 minutes or something, and you would just drop all 3 at once before anybody else dropped any other flag.
I love that.
Yeah.
No. Let the kids have some fun. Come on.
I appreciate it. I mean, I genuinely appreciate it. In a perfect world, that would happen.
I could see it happening. I don't think it's too far-fetched. All right, so we're watching Kaz. Kaz still poking around, and he just checked the pseudo version, which came out to be 1.8.23, and I think that version... Yeah, that one might be vulnerable if I remember correctly.
It has a specific vulnerability too on ExploitDB. I looked it up while I was watching Celesian.
Yeah, the exploit that I've used for that pseudo bug was from Blasty. And,
likewise.
But I don't know if they've got a version of it for Amazon Linux too, and I think that's what the folks are on here currently.
That would be an interesting privesk here because it stood out to me, but LinPeas didn't light up on it. And LinPeas, if it's LXD or sudo, that's one of the first lines you see. So I didn't see anything about sudo, but we'll see. I mean, it could be. You never know.
Yeah.
Kadu is saying in the chat here, Celesian asked for a hint, and then he just went straight up to laughing his ass off like an evil mind master. Just Celesian asked for a flag, for a hint. Poor fucking kid.
I can't believe that Kadu Carlos puts out these boxes every single week. It's that is a lot of work.
Yeah, I saw somebody say that they want the coffee that Kadu drinks.
I said the Brazilian caffeine.
Oh, that was you? Okay. Nice.
For the record, Brazilian coffee is actually amazing and way stronger than whatever.
Is it caffeine or methamphetamine?
Here on live stream, I gotta say caffeine. So
Okay, I understood.
Depends which bar you're at. Okay, I see Kaz looking through, I think it's the PHP FPM config there. And I do know that Kadu has had a few CTFs on UHC with PHP FPM bugs. I'm not especially familiar with any of those. Ode, how about you?
I am not. I did hear about something with FPM, I believe, in the qualifiers, but not particularly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and maybe if it was used in the qualifying round, it might be like a separate bug here. I know, 1 week we had Laravel, and then there was different bugs in Laravel the following week, but it was Laravel both weeks in a row.
Nice. In a real world environment, I just exploited the for a friend. one of his subdomains had a Laravel debug mode on with Ignite enabled. Yeah, and there was this active CVE RCE for that right now, and I just got RCE on one of his healthcare servers with a bunch of protected healthcare information.
Ooh, glad that you found it.
Yeah, luckily I found it and not somebody else. But I'm surprised because the subdomain was very easy. I'm not going to say it, but it would be in any word list. So I'm surprised that I found that before someone else.
Yeah, and sometimes you know, like as a like a consultant or an external party, you don't necessarily get the full story. But I'm always curious about how, like, you know, when you find something that seems like it would be obvious, what's the history there? Is it that like they have some vuln scanner, but it only runs, you know, or some enumeration tooling that runs, but it only hits like, you know, once a week or once every 2 days, and just in the last, you know, 24 hours the thing opened up or like whatever. So I always find that curious where it's like, oh, like this didn't show up on any of our previous reports. It's like, oh yeah, the developer, you know, turned it on last night before they went home from work or something.
Yeah. I mean, anything is possible, especially with big companies. You know, they may have 20, 50, 100 people on their team. So many things can change. Everybody has different privileges to things, and a lot of things become vulnerable when humans get involved.
With the Laravel debug stuff, is it a different service running on a different port, or is it just like a you know, slash and then some other endpoint at the end of the URL?
When debug mode's turned on with Laravel, it's just a little bar that pops up at the bottom of the screen, and if Ignite is installed, then it's vulnerable to this RCE if it's on that specific version. But no, there's no endpoint. You don't have to fuzz for it. As soon as you visit that page, you'll know it's in debug mode.
Nice. I was thinking of like the, you know, like in Python, there's like the workers erg or whatever it is, right? Where it's like the debug version, but it runs on like port 5000 or something
and that
like
one's protected with a pin. You know, Laravel's no pin.
Yeah. Well, now it is, right? I mean, like now for the pin, but it used to not be. There used to not be a pin on the Python one. And so you could find those like all over the place, but now by default it's got the pin. So it's pretty rare that you find it without the pin. I feel like in my experience.
Have you ever exploited the where you grab from proc environment and the I believe it's the ID, the host name, or I forget. There's two different locations. You take them to. There's a script on Hacktricks as well that will figure out the console pin for you. If you grab these two locations. Let me see if I can find it.
Nice. Yeah, I've definitely used arbitrary file read to get good stuff out of proc previously.
Yeah, here they are right here. So this is you need this and you need this in chat.
Nice.
And with those two things, let's say you have an LFI and you have access to the console. If you take those two things and you use the script on Hacktricks, you'll have the pin.
Excellent.
And then from there, it's a RCE. You can pop a shell, whatever you want.
Was there a challenge similar to that in NahamCon's CTF?
Yes. Worker B. That's where I just pulled that out of my notes.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say, this seems familiar.
Yep. I had a ton of fun on that box. John Hammond actually made that box.
Yeah, that was really cool. I remember when y'all hosted with me when Marina was off that week. We got to talk about that challenge a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good one. I had a lot of fun. I didn't compete in the HomCon, but I did play a couple of John's boxes because John's a friend of mine, and I love what he does.
Yeah, awesome dude. We're very fortunate to have him involved in our community.
100%. He's a super good guy and super willing to help and very helpful.
John, the winner here, has something interesting up on the screen. I guess this is just RCE through the web shell, I guess. So it looks like he's just kind of doing it through the web shell, but then running his commands. So I guess he doesn't have an interactive shell quite yet. But that's cool. I was just like, whoa, I haven't seen this from any of the players. What's going on here? So it looks like John used the initial bug to write his PHP file up, and then the PHP file will allow him to execute commands. And so now he just passes it. But also one thing that we're seeing here is there were like multiple requests where there was like no response, right? And so to me, what that says is that there's a load balancer and then there are multiple EC2 instances. And so I bet that's also part of the problem with getting your shell back as well, I would guess.
That's a good point. Yeah. So if you're trying to curl an actual file onto the box and then trying to execute it, you might be hitting the wrong box 5 times.
Yeah, we just saw John, did the request several times there, doing ls and then getting a 404, right? Because now the request is going to a different EC2 instance that does not have his PHP file.
Yeah, and there it is. It just popped up on Twitch at least.
Load balancers, the bane of my CTF existence.
We are now in our late game. We are 45. We have 45 minutes left to go on the CTF tonight. And it's pretty much in between Bert, Celesian, John, Cos, Luska, Ricardo, or Cashflow now joining everyone else with 400 points as well. My Donut and Oxton are still in the easy flag going for the medium one with 100 points. And I think who's not on the scoreboard? I can't remember.
OTA.
Who?
Oda.
All right. Oda is not in the scoreboard. So that's how it's looking like right now. Are you both watching does Bert or Celesian? Or maybe Cos? I don't know. There's just so many people to watch now.
Yeah, right. I'm going to pop down to Bert because Bert was the first one with the shell. And I know Bert's been working on that Privesk for a while. So I'm kind of curious to see what Bert's been cooking up. Bert's looking at a tool called Slurp, which is a new one to me. I've never heard of it before. Looks like it's for finding S3 buckets and then pulling stuff down. But for me, I would think that if I've got a shell on the EC2 instance, I can pull the access creds off of the metadata service. Then I can just use those to do like an S3 LS or use the S3 API to do, I want to say list buckets maybe. But, instead of having to like enumerate through some other network interface like a, web or DNS lookups or something like that, I could just, use the API to directly tell me like, what buckets do I have access to?
Nice. Yeah, I added that to my notes. I'm curious to see what that is.
Yeah, and I see Bert pulling down S3 scanner, which I've also seen in the past. And so this is just kind of like it's a way to find S3 buckets. But again, you've got access to the EC2 instance, so you should be able to just get the instance creds from the metadata service and then just do the S3 API to tell you what buckets are available.
All right. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I obviously wasn't expecting to jump on here. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll be right back.
Cool.
You're the one who hacked us.
I'm sorry. I'm calling the cops. I'll be right back.
Oh, I love him.
I need to report a criminal. Me.
Kadu said official hint from Intady. Oh.
What's the hint?
Go listen
to Dual Core. Is that the hint?
Yes. That is the hint for life. So yeah, we still have the same scoreboard. I am very afraid to leave John's screen because I don't think we can ever come back.
Right.
I just jumped into this wormhole and I just got out here in this dimension where his screen actually works.
Igor just dropped a hint in the UHC chat, the Discord, the private Discord. It says, now that you are in AWS, what resources do you have access to? And so that, so what Kadu is saying and what I was saying previously is you're on the EC2 instance. You can get those access credentials from the metadata service and then see what can you do with those credentials. So if you can, I would guess if you can find the IAM policy that's attached to the instance role or whatever the role or user is, that should tell you what actions and resources you can do. And so that seems to be what they're hinting at. And so it seems like this last flag is another AWS centric flag of actually like attacking the AWS platform, as opposed to how do I get a root shell inside the EC2 instance. So I'm gonna jump over to Celesian. Sorry.
We're doing good. Kadu is watching Cause. I'm watching John. Ode and you are watching Celesian. I think we got it covered. Oh, number 5 dropped. Who was in the 5th room?
I forget. It wasn't Ricardo, right?
No, it was Luska. Luska was in the 5th room.
Bummer, because Luska kind of got into the that second flag fairly quickly, if I remember. Yeah, they were 5th.
Yeah, let's wait and see if he actually dropped out or if it's just a connection error.
Oops, sorry. I'm just going to drink some water really quickly.
So rude. He should have muted his mic,
I did.
Live stream.
Oh, I clicked the wrong mute button. I unmuted. That was my bad. I unmuted and then I threw my voice into the other room. And it came out of your mic. It was very strange.
Goop, goop, goop.
Oh no, not again.
So while you were away, Ode, the hint came out.
What was the hint?
It was that if Ode starts playing in the number 5 spot for Luska, who dropped out, Ode will actually win this edition of Wake.
First, hacking into the live stream. Second, hacking into the scoreboard.
I'm going for it right now. I'm connecting to the VPN.
Kadu, brace yourself.
So the hint was that if you've got access to the AWS environment, you should take a look at what resources you can actually access. The official phrasing was, now that you are in AWS, what resources do you have access to? And so this sounds exactly like
scripts.
It sounds exactly like what we were talking about, Ode, with getting the access creds out of the instance metadata service, and then doing enumeration to see what actions we could perform, what resources we could perform them on, etc.
Yep. This is an interesting turn of events here. The way that I think that, because I don't think it was shown on Twitch, but Celesian used hack tricks as well he found a way he curled localhost with one of the weird payloads that bypasses the WAFs, but I don't think that it was needed, but he did that, and that gave him the AWS creds.
Oh, nice.
Clearly, but he did use some obscure localhost or something like that.
Huh. Yeah, the trick that I've seen now is that with IMDS v2, it's actually 2 separate calls to get the creds out. I think you have to do a put first, and then I think a post after that. But in the past, with IMDS v1, you could literally just get any request to the 169.254 or whatever the instance metadata service address is, which is actually different in ECS, by the way, folks. So if you try 169.254 or 169.254 and you don't get anything, it might mean that you're not on EC2. It might mean that you're in ECS. And so different IP address there. But anyways, so yeah, now with IMDS v2, which is not, I don't know that it's enabled by default on new instances. I think you have to actually select for it. But anyways, 2 separate requests in order to get those creds back.
Understood. And I see Carlos in the chat saying, go ahead, I have access to the VPN. Carlos, I also sent you some AWS creds over the week that I don't think I was supposed to have. Can I use those?
Kadu just laughed.
So somebody else in the chat asked about the qualifiers being quote unquote offline, and so they are not broadcast. They run Saturday for 24 hours, but they're open to everybody. So you can go to the Scoreboard site, uhc.seg.br, and you can register an account there on the CTF. I think it just asks for like a username and password, but I think you have to give it an email if you're going to participate in the finals, because they have to contact you to confirm whether you're actually going to play or not. But it is open to everybody. So every Saturday, a brand new CTF if you want to check it out. So let's see. We're watching Celesian. Celesian's got Paku loaded up. Again, Paku being this modular like AWS pen testing toolkit made by Spencer Getz, I want to say, from at the time Rhino Security Labs, and has a bunch of different modules in it that you can use. You basically just load up some AWS credentials and then run these modules, and it's kind of got a similar feel to Metasploit using MSF Console. It's got tab completion. It does like session logging, so it's got some nice functionality in there.
Yeah, and I also saw some people modifying the modules in it last week. It's interesting to see.
Oh, cool! Like they were writing like custom ones, or they're just like we saw Celesian adding like a print statement just now. But what kind of modifications were they making?
He did something with the Lambda, the enum script. It may have been Celesian, it may have been somebody else, but they were modifying it in some way. It was so fast on the screen, I don't know what they were doing, but I think modifying it.
Yeah, it is. It feels like being in the Matrix here, and watching the agents moving super fast.
Yeah. That's why I'd like to join the Discord, and I have the privilege, and I'm appreciative of it, to be able to jump from user to user in the Discord and watch them as they go.
Just, all day rubbing in everyone's face that he has access to the private Discord.
Well, I'm blessed to have that.
Ode with the VIP status. That's what's up.
Yeah, I got the VIP purple color in the Discord. I'm selling access to my account.
God damn it.
Please send 100,000 Dogecoin to this address.
Right. 100,000. What's that? 36 grand right now?
Yeah, that seems worth it. I don't know what is Dogecoin at. Is it at like 25 cents?
Well, it was at 36 cents the last time I checked, but it could have went down.
Oh my goodness. This is wild.
I can't believe it. I was mining Dogecoin so many years ago on not the greatest hardware, and you could mine millions of them per day with basic hardware. And if I would have just held on to them, the amount of money I'd have would be ridiculous. Yeah,
and I love that it's a cryptocurrency built off of a meme. It's like the internet. Internet's amazing.
It's ridiculous. It's the whole point of cryptocurrencies. I don't want to get super off topic here. The whole point of a cryptocurrency is to be decentralized and non-fiat. Fiat meaning that they're limited. Fiat meaning they are unlimited, like the US dollar or whatever currency. Dogecoin is an unlimited cryptocurrency. It will never run out. It doesn't end. Bitcoin, there's 21 million. Dogecoin, there's infinity. So it's legitimately a hype coin where it's strictly off the news and strictly off social media. So if you have Dogecoin, don't hold it. Get rid of it.
That is unofficial financial advice.
You heard it here, right here.
Do not take financial advice from me.
But if you do happen to have a wealth of Dogecoin and you're looking for a good way to spend it, we've got our IPSEC. We've got our IPSEC webcam face reveal. Next week, we are collecting money for charities, so the money goes to a good cause. You vote on the charity. The charity is on a Twitter poll right now, so follow Hacking Esports on Twitter, and then use the Dogecoin that you've held for the past however long to get IPSEC to show his face to the world.
I can't wait to see IPSEC's face.
I still am under the impression that it is actually not a person, it is an AI, and it's a 3D projection. That is
We're
my
gonna
take.
find out. And if he does it, I'll do it too.
We'll see the real Ode.
Yeah, I'll peel this thing off.
Well, you can get those like masks that look, somewhat human-like, and they're like $400, right? So I wanted to get one that like looked like me, and then just like wear that in a, in a Zoom call and see what would happen.
You could probably get away with it. There's some pretty good masks out there and some good deepfake repos I can send you.
Freaking cause.
Cause is a good cause.
Cause saying
Legion's
that
about to
he
get
is a
root.
good cause. Yes. Oh my god, I cannot with y'all hackers with the dad jokes. Jesus fuck.
I'm gonna check in on the chat just to see how everything's going over here. Yeah. Blue Dragon Psych says the qualifying time is not cool.
Did you real quick? Do you know like how geese they fly in like a V-shaped pattern?
Right.
Have you ever noticed that on one side there's more birds than the other side?
No, I have not noticed. Why is that?
Because there's more birds on one side.
Plot twist.
Yeah.
You learned something new today.
Yeah, TIL. My go-to is why do scuba divers fall backwards out of the boat?
Because they don't want to fall forward.
Yeah, because if they fall forward, they're still in the boat.
Well, do your math. Grow up and solve your own problems. How does the moon cut his hair, Marina?
I'm sorry, what?
How does the moon cut his hair?
I don't know.
He clips it.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I thought it was one of those. I have a lot of those moments running around this house with Daddy. It's just one of those moments that I take a minute to think about. Like, is this language barrier? Do I don't get the joke? And then it hits me. No, it's just a very bad joke. It is not a language issue. It's just a very bad joke.
The last one I got is I asked my dog, "What's 2 minus 2?" He said nothing.
Oh boy, I think we've just seen Celesian submitting
Whoa,
the room
That's
flag.
it.
Was that it?
That
I bet
is
correctly.
What? Oh, we just needed the right number of jokes. That was
Yes.
it.
Yep.
You can now do the clip Celesian winning UHC with dad jokes background.
Yep. We'll hit him with the.
Oh my god, somebody.
That's what I should have popped on when I came in.
All right, everyone. UHC is won by Celesian. We're going for the Brazilian live stream now. Oh, let me stop sharing this. We're going for the Brazilian live stream now. We're gonna interview Celesian, and we're also gonna talk with I don't think we're gonna talk with Cadu because Cadu is not on the Brazilian live stream. But we are going to have the walkthrough of the flags tonight, and this is going to happen both in Portuguese and English at the same time. We're going to try to translate as much as we can, so bear with us and stay with us because we're just going to raid into their channel. So the staff is going to start the raid right now, and in just a few seconds we're all going to automatically raid into the Brazilians channel to interview the winner, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll get all the answers.
Whew.